Okay, so I've been meaning to watch this video by Cam James about the Young Turks. I had seen the coverage that the Vanguard had done on his first two videos on Rashad Ritchie, and I enjoyed their coverage of it. And I saw that he had posted this video, and I've been meaning to watch it, but I just haven't had the time, and I figured I'd pull it up and watch it with you. So before we get into his video, I'd like to say I I'm I never really engaged with political content online because so often I found political commentators to be uh well, a lot of them were libs first of all, and then a lot of them just had like terrible takes. And especially when I was younger, I didn't have the proper tools to parse through the bullshit that a lot of like the liberal washing that a lot that goes on in America. Let's be real. And so I just didn't engage with any political content. Not only that, it's like who wants to fucking like engage with shit from like fucking Andrew Tate, Candace Owens, Ben Shabibo, like Steven Crowder, like who wants to actually have to engage with that content to criticize it or like to know what we're talking about. Anyways, now I'm able to parse through the bullshit and I have a lot more tools and knowledge to back that up. But for a long time, I did not watch political content, like I said. So I was not really aware of the Young Turks. The first time I ever heard of the Young Turks was when I asked somebody who is Hassan Piker, and they said that he is the Young Turks' nephew, and I was like, "Who are the Young Turks?" Like I remember, they said the Young Turks' nephew. I was like, "Okay, like who's that?" Like I I had no clue, and so in the past year or two, past year or so, I've actually started to engage with a lot more political content than I did before. And instead of just, I'm a very big fan of print journalism, and so I would just go, I would just go read articles and then develop my own uh, opinion on them. I would not didn't really care to hear other people's opinions. Now I have opened up to and I've there's there did not used to be as many leftist voices online, especially not prominent leftists. We've seen an uptick in them, and especially with people like uh, Hassan, like I was just talking about, but um, also like the I've Had It podcast ladies, and even like a ton of libs have gotten a lot of attention too. But like the Majority Report, Kyle Kalinske is blown up. Like uh, I did not really engage with the content, and so I didn't know those people really existed for a long time. And because of that, I did not know who the Young Turks were. And God, what a happier time in my life. I no, it doesn't. They just piss me the fuck off. Let's be real. I'm not gonna like they're the first time I ever found a video of the Young Turks on YouTube was them literally firing, not them, Cenk literally firing Francesca Francesca Fiorentini on air in the like live, like without even telling her. It was like as somebody who's worked in management, I was like, first of all, I was like, just like as like a workplace ethic thing, I was like, whoa. This is like supremely unprofessional. I need to figure out what the fuck is going on at this place. And what a journey to fucking divulge yourself into. Jesus Christ. Then of course, by that way I found the Vanguard. And I've watched a lot of the Vanguard's coverage on them since then, and Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. I'll just say the things that I do know about Cenk is he started this progressive news outlet in like 2008, around that time. One of the first like leftist voices online. I do know that he got a crowd-funded studio, and then it was like paid for by the people for the people, and then he got funding from like Peter Thiel and Polymarket, and then changed it to the Polymarket studio. I know that he tried to bust the union at TYT. Like I said, he fired Francesca Fiorentini on air, which was crazy, insane for being right. By the way, like that whole thing pissed me off. Like they were having a debate between Francesca and the Cenk in a faction of TYT, and it got to the point where like she was just like, I can't be associated with you guys anymore. Can you please take me off your network? And he was like, one more, like I'm gonna go one step further with it, and I'm gonna ban her from all TYT programs. All right, y'all. I was literally just gonna insert a clip of this man banning her and let it speak for itself. And then I continued to watch this clip, and I honestly forgot how fucking insane it is. And I just had to fucking play it for you. Let the man speak for himself. It's fucking insane. I couldn't just like play this and not address what's going on. Uh, Cam doesn't go over this situation very uh thoroughly in this video, so I just wanted to address it because this shit pissed me the fuck off all over again. It's been 10 months.
Recently, Francesca Fiorentini asked us at TYT to take her podcast, Habituation Room, off the network. And we happily agreed to that. And today, I'm going a little further, and I'm going to take Francesca off the network entirely. So you won't see her on any of the TYT shows going forward. So I want you guys to know why I'm doing that and how this whole situation isn't really about Francesca. It's about TYT, our community, and what we stand for. And so we're for open minds and open hearts. And so I want all of you to know that, and I want to build a community that believes in that and invites people in that believe in the same things. And by the way, if you don't believe in the same things and you say, no, I have a strict ideology and I have no open mind about that, no problem. There are tons of shows out there for you guys. So
by strict ideology, he means principles, morals, things that would cause you to not want to go and have a beer with people. Like, this motherfucker, I cannot. Anyways, he's such a bullshitter talking about this isn't about Francesca. Yes, it is, you asshole. The fuck?
First of all, we've had some disagreements. I certainly have with some of the far left, but I think they've been relatively small. But if you think that they've been large, no problem. So they've been around the issue of crime. Did crime rise between 2019 and 2023? Well, that's a fact. It did. But it's okay. We could have different interpretations of it. That's not an issue at all. We certainly are against police abuse, and we've fought against it. I would argue at least as much as any show on the planet, and perhaps a lot more. And I take great pride that Benjamin Crump, among others, said that Trayvon Martin would not have gotten anywhere near the national coverage.
Wait. I need a minute. Yeah, wait. This motherfucker. This is pure, unbridled narcissism. That is crazy. Crazy. He just took credit for like a movement. Motherfucker, I never heard your name. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's crazy. I forgot he said that. I think I blocked it out. That is such an insane thing for him to have said. What the fuck? What is this? This isn't even like white savior. It's like Caucasian savior. Like, I don't even understand this. I am perplexed, sir. Well, I mean, the answer is narcissism. This is crazy. This is crazy. Go ahead. Keep going. Act a fool.
That he did if it wasn't for the Young Turks. So nevertheless, we could have disagreements about specific policy issues, and we do on slogans and framing, et cetera. For example, defund the police, Latinx. These are normal disagreements within any community. And I certainly would never want to shut that down because we're, again, for open minds. And of course, we've had some disagreements on the issue of transgender rights. Let me just say quickly what my position is, because a lot of people outside of the network have been misleading you about this. So I'm for 100% constitutional rights for transgender Americans because why they're.
This is another thing is like a lot of people will specifically talk about Cenk and Ana as a pair. And when they do that, they don't want to single somebody out. And now Cenk is acting as though he is the sole host of the Young Turks. He is the sole executive producer, when that's very far from the truth. Ana pulls stories every single fucking day. She's your co-host. She's the executive producer. Like, she is you are responsible for the shit that she peddles as well. And that girl was peddling a whole ton of right-wing bullshit for years, especially on the issues of crime, homelessness, transgender rights. So to sit here and act like you're the only one that people are talking about is bullshit. Not only that, like, it is not just like Ana went on a fucking tear about being called a birthing person. Like, are you fucking kidding me? That just didn't have like
Americans.
Not to mention you completely you diminished and like dismissed the voice of one of your trans contributors. Like, you were, what the fuck? You told her that she lived in like an echo chamber. You're a piece of shit. Like, the fuck?
Just like the rest of us, and they should have the same exact rights as us. They should be protected in bathrooms. They should definitely be allowed to serve in the military. And I happen to think that they should be allowed to play, transgender girls should be allowed to play in girls sports in high school. Now, my position on that is not overall popular in the country. I understand that, and I have a strategy for hopefully how to win on that in the long run. But I don't believe
the strategy is to play patty cake with fascists. Like, this man is a bullshit factory, and that's all that he spews out of his goddamn fucking mouth.
That they should be mandated to play in college and professional level. I think the league should get to make those decisions on their own. I think that is a small.
Can you tell me what other part of college, academia, or sports you have an opinion on? Like, since when do you like? What the fuck? It's just such a weird thing. Like, okay.
Small disagreement. Obviously, others think that's a giant disagreement, but that's again not
because you are willing to roll back your advocacy for trans people based on whether or not you think the fascists on the other side are going to agree with us. They're never going to fucking agree with us. They're never going to see us as fucking people. Fuck them. We don't need to fucking win them over. We need to create a good, strong message on the left so we can get the 75% of people that did not vote for Donald Trump to actually go out and vote for a Democratic candidate. Like, if Hillary had a good message, then she would have won. If Kamala had a good message, then she would have won. Obviously, there's a huge misogynistic element and a misogynoir element with Kamala, but the truth of the matter is this: only 77 million people voted for Trump. That is a quarter of the American population, which is like 340 million. So if we actually look at it logically, if Kamala had a good campaign with good messaging and good core issues that people could like actually latch onto, then they would have felt the need to go out and vote for her. Look at the success of people like Zohran. Like, it's proven time and time again. If you have a good message, people will go out and vote for you. If you pat a cake with fascists and centrists and all these fucking dipshits, then you're not gonna fucking win. It's been proven twice. And it's been proven by the fact that they lost to Donald fucking Trump, the convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, demented dipshit in diapers. Like, hello? The Donald. Like, are we,
issue here. I think what the issue is when others, among the issues, is when others say only my opinion is the correct one, the moral one. Everyone who disagrees with me is unintelligent, immoral, collaborator, etc. Well, we'll get to the specifics on Francesca in a second. I'm saying that generally, and that they.
That's such a bullshit thing to say, motherfucker. That's not what's happening. Like, people will give out a completely thought out, nuanced, intellectual take, and he will be like, "Oh, you're just so pure." Like, no, bitch, shut the fuck up. It's you are not taking into account what people are saying, and you're like not applying everything that you have been advocating for the past 20 fucking years. Cenk, you fucking grifter.
They speak for the left. Well, let's find out if they do speak for the left. This is a little bit of Francesca, a little bit of Emma Vigeland from Majority Report, and spliced in is the actual facts.
I want to point out that it's so fucking misogynistic that he included Emma Vigeland here. What the fuck does she have to do with it? Other than the fact that you wanted to like pick on her? What does she have to do with it? Seriously though, like, what does she have to do with you removing Francesca off your network? Cenk?
About what the American people think, and interestingly, what Democratic voters think. First, let's watch this.
I'm a big Messi fan, but let me just explain this.
Answer my question. Would you allow him, if he said I'm a woman, to play in the American women's national team?
You're using the wrong pronoun
Yes, right now. Hell yeah, are you kidding me?
Transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports.
Your argument is really bad on this, and you're out of your depth. You're correct that trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, but your argument for it is just scientifically and factually incorrect. I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100% right on this. I don't give a the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a
I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything.
Because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop. So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
You'd let Lionel Messi play
I
in the
love
women's
her.
national football team and destroy
Hell yeah,
women's football
welcome.
forever. You'd let Usain
It'd be
Bolt.
very difficult
Hang on,
to get a ticket, which would suck.
I want to do a little checklist here. You'd let Usain Bolt compete as a sprinter in the American women's Olympic team?
Yes.
Okay. You would
Yes.
let Floyd Mayweather compete as a boxer in the women's American boxing
Yeah.
team?
Opposing them in women's sports. You get 67% of Democrats, so 2/3 there. You get 64% of independents, so you get about 2/3 there.
So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
Okay, generally speaking, if you want to say that you
It's absolutely fucking insane to me that he thought that made them look bad. To whom? To whom? Can we take into effect, like, can we, first let's address Francesca, who I fucking love. That is what a stalwart advocate for a cause looks like, Cenk. Like, that is what having principles looks like. Francesca was able to assess the environment and the platform that she was in and on, okay? She was able to assess that in a room full of bigots, she's not going to waver on her advocacy for trans people. Obviously, she probably doesn't think that Lionel Messi should turn around and be able to join the women's soccer league tomorrow. But we can have some nuance here and realize that it doesn't fucking matter in that fucking space, because you're not going to placate to fucking bigots and fascists, transphobes, racists, pieces of fucking shit. Like, the worst scum of the fucking earth. And I know that you like want to go have a beer with fucking Pierce Morgan and all these fucking dipshits at the end of the day and have these random fucking debates that and actually they don't fucking matter, as if they're fucking like a football game that you could just get to, like, cheer on from the side and like then go have fun at the end of the day. Bitch, fuck that. I'm not having no fucking beer with fucking Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro. Fuck them. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, those are the absolute scourge of society. I do not need to have a beer with them. I do not need to play patty cake with them. Fuck them. And fuck you, Cenk.
You're right about something. Sure, everybody has their own opinions, and it's their opinion.
Sorry, I forgot to address Emma Vigeland. I love both of those women so much. Anyways, Emma, what? I seriously don't understand what is like. Even I don't understand what was the problem with that clip of Emma. Does anybody know? Is he arguing that some little games are more important than trans rights? The rights of human beings, advocating for the rights of humans is not as important to him as collegiate sports games. Okay. This also, I don't understand this argument from the get. It's like, okay, well, obviously it's just transphobia, but, and also misogyny, because have you seen women play sports? Those girls are vicious. They I grew up with a lot of girlfriends. I'm a gay man. I've always had a lot of girlfriends, and a lot of them played sports. My sister was a competitive athlete. Those girls are vicious. I don't don't worry about them. They'll be fine. I've never understood this argument from that point of view, even in like, girl, don't worry about them. They'll be good. Anyways.
Opinions. That's why they think that they're right. It's another thing to say that you speak for the left. As you just saw there, 67% of Democrats have a position that is actually to the right of mine. I say that.
Okay, 67% of that particular poll you chose very selectively and flashed in between every single fucking point that they made, which was so fucking stupid and like selective editing, you asshole. Anyways, the Democratic Party in America, the Democratic voter base in America. Did you just say the left? You're on crack. You are like, do you smoke crack, Cenk? Because it must be good. What are you talking about? The left? The left. The Democratic Party in America? United States of America. Founded in 1776. The country built on stolen land. Like that one? The left? Barely, but anyways, it's just so fucking stupid. Like, I don't this motherfucker. They're not speaking for the fucking left. They're speaking for like, oh my. I don't understand this man.
The trans girls should be allowed to play in girls' sports in high school. 67% of Democrats say no, not allowed in any women's sports. So I'll work on my Democratic brothers and sisters, and I'll try to get them to my position on that. Nothing wrong with disagreements. And if Emma, Francesca, and others can convince 79% of the nation that is opposed to that to come over to that side, fantastic, happy to have it, okay? So I think where the issue comes in is when things get.
He is such a narcissist. Like, you really think that your shit don't stink, bro. Like, it's crazy. What the fuck? Mind you, he made this big a fucking deal about this fucking issue. Have you heard anybody talk about trans people in sports in the past like 10 months? Barely. Because it wasn't a real fucking issue. That's the thing, is it was all made up bullshit. that nobody actually really cared about. They just wanted an excuse to vilify and dehumanize trans women. Like, that was the whole point of it. And that's why they weren't placating and playing patty cake with the fucking fascists, Cenk.
Get personal. So we got 3 rules, generally speaking, on air here at TYT that are relatively bright lines. So one is, and I say relative, I'll explain that in a second. One is no lying. 2 is no threats of physical violence. And number 3.
Cenk lies all the time. He's lied like 40 times in this 6-minute segment. Well, this, yeah, like
3 is don't denigrate personally the other hosts in the network over and over and over again. And I say relatively bright lines because it should be relatively easy to follow, but I get that people have disagreements about, hey, what's a lie? Are what they say about
God, he is such a condescending cunt, isn't he? Holy fuck. Oh my God, he is.
crime stats a lie or not? No, I'm not going to nitpick that. And we get into heated debates from time to time. Me and Ben Glebe in the past, me, Ben Mankiewicz, me, Michael Shore, etc. And I love those debates. And somebody might cross the line and say something they shouldn't have, but we usually hug it out. And so I'm not nitpicking here. What we're looking for is, hey, are we all rowing generally in the same direction, or are some of us drilling holes in the boat? And so are you doing it over and over again on purpose to try to create an issue? Or even if you're not trying to do it, you are creating an issue by constantly attacking our own. And I have applied this 2 other times, which I'll tell you about in a minute. This all started, unfortunately, when I went.
This whole narrative of like the left is attacking the left as like it's no. You're yelling at the left for criticizing the center and the right. That's what's happening, Cenk. And people are like, wait, why are you yelling at us? And then you just keep yelling. That's exactly what's been happening. Like,
went on Francesca's show, and we had what seemed like a normal conversation and debate about this issue until it made a turn. And this is part of the turn. Let me show you.
I'm reminded of the book by I think his name is Michael Schneider on tyranny, and he wrote, it's like 20 lessons from the 20th century about authoritarianism and fascism. And one of the things that has come to mind when you say my strategy will protect us is he has this chapter, I'm gonna bring it up, the first part of it, called Do Not Obey in Advance. And he writes, most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. In other words, you don't have to do the sort of crackdown on the left around speech because I'm going to do it for you, or you don't have to come to me.
Cracking down. Again, you're misstating it. I'm doing the exact opposite. You're cracking down by saying, Cenk, you're out of bounds, so you should stop with your stupid opinion.
So
and because you're implicating me.
I can't believe that a guy who I used to admire and who I thought had a lot of fight is trying to scratch the back of people who absolutely would never do the same for them.
So we just spent an hour and a half me explaining how I'm not scratching their back. I'm trying to get.
But I can show you more clips,
to agree
man.
with us on things we believe in and we've always believed in. And you go back to scratching their back.
At least the trains will run on time.
Again, I'm baffled at the fact that he thinks that clip made her look anything but based as fuck. Like, what? Like, dude, are you having a stroke? He looks like it right there. I just like, she schooled you in that clip, bro. Did you not? Are we watching? Did you pull the wrong clip? Crazy.
The train's running on time, presumably a reference to Germany. I'm the collaborator, and
I'm pretty sure. Give me a second. I'll look that up because I'm pretty sure that's a Mussolini reference. Sure, Mussolini is bad on these issues, but he makes the trains run on time or whatever. Or I don't know. Let me look it up. Yeah, the phrase Mussolini made the trains run on time. I don't understand. Like, that just goes to show that you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You hopped on this progressive bandwagon because it was popular at the time, and you didn't have any real knowledge or understanding of any real movement of what you were actually fighting for. You were just riding the vibes. And when the vibes were not going your way anymore, you tried to placate to fascists. And they didn't even like that. One of the only right-wing grifts to have failed. You and fucking deaf noodles. Anyways.
I'm scratching the right wing's back by having my opinion. The opinion I've always had, an opinion I've had for years, and you guys have seen for years on the show. But if you don't agree with Francesca in that particular case and some other folks in the extreme left, well, you're not allowed to have that opinion. That is immoral by definition. And how dare you disagree with them? That makes you a right winger or a collaborator.
Extreme left is such a, I feel like that's a dog whistle for like, oh, I'm a centrist, I'm a conservative, liberal, centrist, because like, if you actually knew anything about the left, you would know that there's no extreme radical leftist in America. I mean, there are like within the certain like communities and certain people and certain ideologies, but like there isn't one in Congress. And don't cite Zohran Mamdani or Bernie Sanders, because that healthcare and like free childcare is like basic left-wing ideology. A radical leftist is like Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. Like that's not the same. That's not the same thing. Okay, like just having principles and morals in your advocacy for an entire community of people is not the same as being a like, well, they were gorillas. Like, I'm not gonna like for a good cause, yeah, sure, but they were also gorillas. Like, that's not the same thing as being like told that you are placating to fascism, Cenk. That is not the same thing as being told that you are going down a path that leads towards transphobia or anti-homeless propaganda, or even like animosity towards black and brown people. And a lot of people might think that, oh, Cenk is brown, like he wouldn't have it. Like Cenk is Turkish, and I won't. There are a lot of biases that a lot of people from a lot of different countries might have, and I'll just leave that at that.
Et cetera. But if you say, hey, Cenk, look, I know that she's quoting someone, collaborating with an authoritarian government and saying that that's what you're doing and you're helping the right wing, and that she's not open to the idea of, hey, maybe there's a different strategy and a different opinion on this that gets us the same result, protecting trans folks or whichever topic we're talking about. Okay, if you're not, and at that point, I certainly hadn't done anything. I think that was, I didn't appreciate that, but that's okay. We kept going, and she's been on the network since.
Yeah,
then
because
she started.
You didn't appreciate it because she was right, and it made you introspect, and it was uncomfortable, and you didn't like that, so you clammed up, and you just took it out on her instead.
To do more and more and more, and it got more and more personal. So after that discussion, this happened.
I like that we can both be very Mediterranean about it and get like super mad, but then rein it in and be cool, and then be like, we're like, yeah, we're just gonna yell, and then we're gonna be fine, and then we're gonna get over it. So that's the kind of beer I like to have.
Yes, thank you.
2 days later.
I mean, I have my own thoughts on like why he's doing.
What are you, 12? Like, what are we doing? Like, you're in the middle, you're already in the middle of firing her, essentially, on air after you did exploit her labor for years, which I talk about later in the video. But to this point, you are doing something that is extremely unprofessional. And then on top of that, you put in some fucking SpongeBob 2 days later. What is this? What? Can you have some sense? Can you grow up? This is serious. Is it not? The fuck?
It. I think, if you think your brain was broken by the 2024 election, I think we're looking at a case where someone's brain was broken even harder.
Okay, so, but look, guys, if she had said that about another host, I probably would have drawn the line there. But it's about me, so I wanted to give more leeway. My brain is broken, and by the way, that's
Wait. Is he trying to sit here and act as? Oh my god, you are such a victim, aren't you? Oh, Muffin, girl, we were all brain broken after the fucking 2024 election. A convicted felon adjudicated rapist with a full face of orange makeup, wearing a diaper, showing full signs of dementia, won the presidency for a second time. We were all brain broken. I literally didn't pay attention to American politics for a few weeks to maybe a month because I was like, how did they let this happen again? And because I'm Canadian, so it's just, it was hard to understand for a minute. But to say that you were not brain broken by this election and to try and take offense to that is so insane. Not only because she literally qualifies it if you think you were brain broken, which means that we were all brain broken, but I just think Cenk took this a little harder. The fact that you took offense to that, this goes to show how much of a little bitch you are, dude. The fuck?
still okay. The first time she's getting super personal. Collaborator, maybe that's a political opinion. Now we're a broken brain, even though we were supposed to have a beer and we were supposed to hash it out and be okay afterwards, but apparently not okay afterwards.
You've also refused to take anything that she has said with nuance. You have refused to actually take in anything she did say and internalize it and maybe evaluate your behavior. You just saw it as an attack, which is really weird because you're a grown man.
But then that was the tip of the iceberg. She continued again and again. Here's the next one.
I do think it's sad that even though they allow people like us into the fold and the fray, they refuse to learn from us or listen to us. And I think that when you have been doing this work for so long and you still cannot grasp the idea of intersectionality, how race and gender and class all intertwine with one another, and how the right, the fascist goal is to divide us based on these lines. I don't know who you are. I'm not even, I don't even know if you're smart. You know what I mean? I don't even know. First of all, I don't know who your political mentors are. I don't know who you look up to. I don't know what your touchstones are. I don't know if you know your history in terms of civil rights, women's rights, gay rights struggle in this country. I don't know anything. I call into question all of that. It sounds like you are just an opportunistic mouthpiece who wants clicks time and time again.
Okay. I agree with everything she said. She spat she's that was absolutely 100% factual. And also her saying that a disagreement with you on such a large issue led her to question what she knew is not a bad thing. And she should be able to voice her concerns without you freaking out like a crazy little bitch. Look at his face, he's pissed. This motherfucker can't take criticism for the life of him. It's crazy.
Okay, so obviously it's getting deeply personal there. Opportunistic mouthpiece, can't grab.
No, okay. Another thing. Okay, you're refusing to hear. Okay. This goes to what she was literally saying. You're literally doing what she was saying right now. It's crazy. What she said at the beginning was, you let us into the fray, but you refuse to listen to us and actually take into account what we have to say. What she was saying right there is marginalized people. The Young Turks allows marginalized people into the fray, but they will not then take into account what those people have to say, what their opinions are, what their experience has been. And like, you can go from Francesca Fiorentini to Bonnie to Olayemi Olorin. Like, there's a long list, mainly women of color, if we're being honest, that have been completely dismissed in a lot of conversations and shut out of the network because they did not want to challenge their preconceived notions of how the world works and how it's set up for different people and how that may benefit them more than others. It's all cute fighting with right wingers until push comes to shove and you have to actually show up and advocate for these causes.
Simple concepts, not smart. But guys, and I'm not angry. Look, people have different opinions and they want to.
I forgot to go with. Like I said, you literally did what she was talking about. You are refusing to hear what she's saying right now, Cenk. You are refusing to hear the words that just came out of her fucking mouth. Like, she literally said, it makes me question if you are. It makes me feel like you are. Those are intentional words. She did not say that you are a grifter, and she did not say that you are a dumbass. She said, it makes me question these things. She's being honest about her experience. And that might seem foreign to you because you're such a fucking grifter, but like, that is actually how people connect with their audience. Like, that's why Francesca is doing well and you're not. Like, fuck off.
Make it personal. It is what it is, right? I'm more sad about it. You know, I'll say something.
Doesn't motherfucker look sad? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The end about that, but to me, the attitude that is toxic, and that's what I don't want at TYT. I want to build a community that is really open to conversations. Is they refuse to learn from us. So the idea is, well, obviously I'm right and the only moral center of the universe, and I already told them that.
No. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what she meant is that you have people on your programs. You get these contributors and then you refuse to listen to them. I already went through it. Like, how is this man so stupid? Like, I'll call you stupid, you motherfucker. You're dumb. That's crazy. You just like proved her point 5 times over. And she wasn't speaking for the fucking left. She was speaking for all of the employees of the Young Turks who have spoken about how they were mistreated or about how they don't agree with your right-wing grift and how far you guys have fallen because they believed in what you used to fight for, Cenk.
And this guy wouldn't even learn from me. It's just such a deeply arrogant thought that if someone disagrees with you, they need to be re-educated.
The most arrogant motherfucker on the internet talking about arrogance. Like, what the bitch? You literally took claim over the coverage of Trayvon Martin. Like, this motherfucker. It's not like you are citing vibes and they are citing literature, past movements. I don't. How do you not see the difference in that? What?
And maybe they haven't read any books at all. Okay, did she stop there?
Clearly you haven't. You don't even know about that Mussolini quote, bitch.
Of course not.
And yes, as I told Cenk, I do feel very implicated. I have felt implicated by their takes, specifically around crime and policing in years past, definitely by this new heel turn since Trump's reelection, and absolutely by the misrepresentation of the Los Angeles fires and who the responsibility lies on. It is enraging, to say the least.
The Los Angeles fires are not the responsibility of the mayor. They're apparently the responsibility of Republicans. Or I don't know. I don't know what her thought on that is, and I don't know why she's enraged by that, but that's okay. Apparently, I've taken a heel turn. By the way, all those folks, not just Francesca, but others that told you were right wing, you watched
such a chicken shit motherfucker. Like, either you're responsible for the shit that goes out on your network, or you're not. Either you're the CEO and boss and like the boss man, and like, or you're not. Like, oh my God. Look to your left, Cenk. Her name is Ana Kasparian. That's what the fuck they're talking about. Also, why don't you go look at Jimmy Dore's coverage on anything? The fuck?
the show every single day. You see us criticizing Trump and Elon Musk over and over and over and over again, telling you how they're going to do a $4.5 trillion robbery in those tax cuts. Yesterday, we talked about how they're already, hammering Social Security and costing good Americans, what they need from Social Security, how they're going to cut $800 billion from Medicaid, how there's
this dumb motherfucker. Yeah, he's a con man, you dipshit.
a series of robberies on the way, etc. But it's okay. Let's just simplify things and say anyone who disagrees with us a little bit is a right winger. But the good news is, at least Francesca will not be implicated anymore. And I never understood that, because she's been saying this for a long time now, that she was implicated by us. Then why keep taking the check? And it's not a big check. And Francesca has had, a career before us. She talks about that. Of course she did. And she'll have a career after us. There's no problem with that. So why, if you think we're collaborators and we've taken a heel turn and we're working with fascists, why did you choose to get implicated with us all these days? But good news.
What? What point is he making? Like, you used to be one thing and now you're not. You made a fucking very clear turn. Everybody in your, every single fucking one of the people that you have collaborated with and been friends with has told you that, hey, this shit is, you're taking a wrong fucking turn. You're turning fucking right. So the fact that she properly assessed that and felt that she was implicated in your patty cake with fucking fascism is good on her.
No longer implicated.
God, he's such a condescending cunt. Like, I know I said that already, but like, damn.
Believe it or not, she did not stop there. This is now another show. Watch.
So Cenk's line up until this point has been, no, it's at the collegiate level and above. I think once you get to the college level and above, that's when it's bad. So he would be on board with what the NCAA said recently. But you're so dumb. You're so dumb. I don't even know how to explain this to you anymore.
Oh my God, I forgot to even address the whole check part. Motherfucker, he's taking advantage of the fact that people don't understand how his network works. People post the video, like, they're making all the content, they put it under their banner and take money from them. He's actively taking money from the content that she makes. She could make that content on her own channel, which she does now, and I believe she works for Zateo as well. But like, this chicken shit motherfucker, and like, you can go watch multiple people who used to work for the Young Turks. Sam Sear talked about how they didn't do anything for them, but yet they took that money and all they had was a TYT in the corner of the screen. Like, you offer little to nothing for these people other than the banner. And now the banner isn't even like brand friendly for a fucking leftist. Like, you're compromised.
Unless this is the other option, unless you also are a transphobe. You know what I'm saying? Unless you also are kind of a misogynist.
Because
Well, that's true. I think he's a misogynist down for sure.
if you disagree with Francesca or anyone on that part of the spectrum, well, you must be a misogynist.
What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What? He's been around that white lady too long. God damn it. He victimized himself so quick in that equation in so many different times. Oh, the poor little CEO got criticized by a woman. Oh my God. And like, you have a history, a long history of dismissing women, their opinions, their experiences, their knowledge, their work. Like, I don't understand what that is not. Why is this motherfucker allergic to nuance all of a sudden? Like, it's crazy. And I know it's 10 months ago, but the motherfucker deserves to be fucking criticized. Fuck this bitch.
You must be collaborating with the fascists, and obviously you must be unintelligent. Now, if I had called her dumb, I wonder what her reaction would have been. My guess is nuclear, but I didn't call her that because
Why? Is because she's a hysterical woman, and you're just the cool centrist who can have a beer with the boys? Like, again, prove her point. Like, this is the most insane video I've watched in a while. I know it's long, but I just had to fucking pull this up and react to it. It's crazy. Like, this is an insane person in front of you on the screen right now.
we have a disagreement. We have a political disagreement. You don't need to make it personal. Not done yet. One last one.
What has it got you? What did it get you? When you go and share a stage with Dr. Phil, what did it get you?
Ugh.
Nothing. You know why? Because you look like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? You look like a bitch. That's what it is. Like, that's just what it comes down to.
On his channel too. That's crazy. I love her. She listens to her like going out guns blazing, just saying "fuck you, fuck all yes." Like, oh fuck yeah. She said I didn't even like. Fuck this place. Fuck this boss. I ain't like any of you. And Cenk's a misogynist. Anyways, go on. I love her.
You don't look like a fighter. You don't look smart. You look like a bitch.
Does he not though? Like, he completely rolled back his advocacy for trans people. He has completely demoralized himself in so many different ways when it comes to money, and has just proven himself to be a fucking peon. It's crazy.
That's the reality. I've tried to tell it to you nicely. I've tried to tell it to you cordially. I've tried to tell it to you on your show, on my show, on every show. And so either you A, are a bitch, or B, you actually agree with the right. And I'm starting to think, in fact, I do think it's the latter.
Okay. So again, if I had called her that, that would have been a different situation, right? But look, guys, also on the policy.
I want to reach through the screen right now. Jesus Christ, Lord. Mary, Mother of Jesus.
Or the strategy, when you go talk to the right wingers, first we did that, and I mainly did that, and there was a lot of blowback saying, don't ever talk to the right wing, but they won the popular vote. How are we gonna win back the voters if we never talk to them? If we don't win him back, we can't ever win an election. And that doesn't mean the far end of MAGA. It means
we don't need a quarter of the fucking country. We need the other 75% of the country. That is what you need to win. Those racist, vile motherfuckers, those transphobic, white supremacist, ethno-nationalist, evangelical pieces of fucking shit. They are never going to stand up, go out to the fucking voting poll and vote for Kamala Harris because they're white supremacist, racist, pieces of shit, misogynist. They uphold white supremacist structures, patriarchal structures, and they like it. They like the cruelty of these systems that they have produced. Why the fuck do you think they're going to come to our side? Try and win everybody else. Fucktard.
Independents that voted for Trump and maybe some right-wing populists that voted for Trump. Now I've noticed that faction is now saying, well, I mean, of course we should talk to the right, but we should only yell at them or we should only accost them. That seems like a really productive conversation. And if you
cut to his debate with the Majority Report, cut to his debate with Crystal and Kyle, cut to a large part of his debate with fucking Francesca, like cut to his debate with Hassan. This motherfucker is constantly yelling. He made a fucking career off of yelling at right-wingers. Like, what the fuck is he on about? He's actually on, like, wow, okay.
Now I guarantee you they'll say, no, I don't mean just yell at them, but just like build coalitions. As Francesca said recently, apparently she's changed her mind about being a collaborator, but not with Trump voters. Well, who would it be if it wasn't Trump voters? Those are the folks on the edge of the middle of the spectrum that we got to bring to our side. We've got to.
Trump voters are not on the middle of the fucking spectrum, like motherfucker.
Convince them that the populist left is right. Not necessarily a populist right, or parts where we agree, hey, great, let's work together on that. So who are we building coalitions with?
We're not going to build them with the con men, the liars, the fascists, the rapists, the racists, the transphobes, the homophobes, the misogynists, the white supremacists, the Zionists. Like, I actually don't want to build coalitions with those absolute demons. The absolute worst people on the planet exist in America, and they have been allowed to just like prosper. Fuck all of them. I don't want to build coalitions with them. I don't want to breathe the same air as them. They can go live their podry lives in fucking Ohio or Mississippi, where the fuck they live.
It isn't the other side or people who voted in the other direction. And if we talk to them, what are we doing? Only screaming fascists in their face? Or are we having a human conversation? So look, this is not an attitude that I agree with. Again, there are other shows that love what she's saying. And no problem, to each his own, it's a free country. Go and love that and yell and scream and do all the things that you want to do. But do you think that after you...
It's so crazy that he has the nerve to be like, bitch, that is, you just described yourself. What are you talking about? All you do is scream and cry and yell and what? My God. Pull up any clip of him on fucking Piers Morgan, anywhere. Oh my God.
Do a joint appearance with Dr. Phil or anyone else, that the very next day, all of MAGA is going to show up and go, oh, I changed my mind. You're absolutely right. No, this is a gradual process where Americans begin to talk to one another and start to learn about each other and start, oh, that's what you mean. Oh, that's how you perceived it. And we begin to have human conversations until we understand each other. Again, if you don't want to understand them and you don't want to do that, plenty of other shows. So
here's the thing, Cenk. You probably don't understand this because you don't have convictions. But there's a lot of people who are very, very immovable on their racism because it is a core value of theirs, and you might core vice of theirs. It is something that not something that they are going to give up tomorrow, the next month, or 3 to 5 business months from now. Like the things that Charlie Kirk said about black people and black women are unforgivable. I cannot build a coalition with that man because he, well, wait. I'm muting my mic. Okay. Sorry.
She said, I tried to tell him nicely. Did you? Did you? Because I might have missed that part. All right, guys, you get it by now. Look, there's two other.
No, bitch, you selectively cut like the most controversial things that she would have said. I'm struggling to say controversial because she called you dumb. Oh my God. Do you need a Band-Aid? Should we call the police? Like, can you grow up? You're like 50. I don't understand this. Grow the fuck up, dude. Also, there was like so many different times on air. Plus, you most likely had a ton of off the air conversations with this woman that you was your colleague that worked for you. That he's such a jackass.
Times that I enforced this rule. One was when Sam Cedar was doing it to Jimmy Dore, and they were both in the network. Sam's show was nominally in the network as part of our YouTube partner group, and that's what we were doing early on. And I was happy and thrilled with all the folks that were in it before. And then we stopped doing that since then. So God bless, no problem with that. And in terms of Sam and others leaving at that point, at different points from that network we were trying to set up. So
cut to him literally calling them low rent grifters. This motherfucker, this sweaty ham of a man, had the unmitigated gall to call the majority of part low rent grifters. Look around, sweetheart.
But while they were in the network, I said, Sam, you can disagree with Jimmy all you want. And in fact, I agree with you on that, on the policy you're criticizing him on. But stop doing personal insults. You're doing like personal insult after personal insult. So I talked to him about that. He wouldn't agree. He loved the personal insults. He wanted to keep going. And apparently that's a thing that he does like, and that's what he likes to do every time, apparently. And so, okay, that's Sam. And
like, yeah, he makes jokes because most adults can take them. You fucking wimp! Like, you were just proving everything that Francesca said. I'm all I can think about in my mind right now is when she was calling you a bitch. You're a bitch, dude.
But we did enforce it before, and then ironically, the second time we enforced it was against Jimmy Dore when he was doing it to Francesca, and he'd called her an effing liar, and he'd called her, and he said that she was a paid shill, which is a classic go-to move for Jimmy. Although he misspelled it paid chill, which sounds pretty nice. And I said, Jimmy, you can't do that.
What?
Ironically, he's the only.
So when he says it, ironically, it sounds pretty nice, but it's an attack when Francesca says it. The white man, that's pretty nice, but then like all out offensive when Francesca says it.
Only one who actually apologized and said, I won't do it again, and he apologized to Francesca. Francesca apparently thought, great, I'm allowed to do this, but no one's allowed to do it to me. Anyway, you guys get it. So I don't.
What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You are the one up in arms about all these things. Like, what are you talking about? I'm sorry, did she remove you off of her network? Like, what is going on?
Like I said, I want everybody rowing in the same direction because we're trying to build something here. And why do we want to build something?
I ain't trying to build shit with you, motherfucker. You're a con man and a narcissist and a terrible boss. You're just not a good person. I don't like the way you treat even your own family member, which you guys will see in this video later on. I know this is a large detour, but like, I think it's important.
Because we want our movement to be strong. We want our message to get out there. We want to win over those votes.
No message fighting for the rights of queer people, Black people, Hispanic people will be made stronger by the inclusion of people like Charlie Kirk, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, who else? Ben Shapiro, like these fucking imbeciles.
Voters, because the bottom line in all of this is eyes on the prize. You've heard me say that year after year after year. What's the prize? The prize, by the way, note to other online hosts, is not more subscribers. The prize is passing bills, because those are the only things that affect our voters, our audiences, their actual lives. Let's pass paid family leave. Let's pass Medicare for all, higher wages, etc. And I hope
they are not going to fucking fight. They're not going to pass for that. They're not going to fucking vote for that. They've proved themselves time and time and fucking again. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are you acting like you haven't had decades of history with this Republican Party? What are you talking about? You had 4 years with Donald Trump before. It went so great last time, didn't it?
Hope wherever you are on the left-wing spectrum or the middle or wherever you are, I hope that you agree. And I hope that we all work together in trying to pass those bills. So please, eyes on the prize. And so look, I'm gonna show you 2 charts here for a reason. Some Media Matters did this chart recently. You guys, some of you might have seen it on air. And it has the right-wing shows online in red, and it has the left-wing shows online in blue, okay? What we did there, and I hope you can see it, is we put a little bit of a green circle around the TY.
Please. Oh my God. Oh my God. Use. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. This man is. Wow. Wow. Okay. And do your subscriber counts translate to views? I don't think so.
IT show. So the Young Turks is right next to Rogan. We got 12 million subscribers, one of the largest ones in the whole chart. But Rebel Headquarters is also on there. Damage Report is on there. Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie's on there. And when you put them together, that's 18.8 million. And it is one
What the fuck? Didn't you just say it's not about getting subscribers and then goes on to flex his subscriber count when nobody made it about that to begin with, except for you? Like, what?
The largest presence in online media, period. If you include our alumni, people that have been in part of the TYT network in one way or another.
What the fuck is he even, what is his point here? What the fuck is he talking about? Motherfucker. Yeah, you had a huge impact on the online space because you were one of the first people to hit a market. That is how people are able to monopolize the market. That's what this is. Now, you have changed, you have rolled back on your principles and values and that people looked to you for. And now you are not what you once were. Nobody is denying the impact that you once had. What we're talking about is what your behavior is like right now. Like, I don't understand this.
Throughout the years, then we're at 30.1 million subscribers with the way that Media Matters does it. Today, actually, when you include all the platforms that we're on, some of which Media Matters did not count, we have 27 million subscribers. Now, why do I tell you that? Because guys,
because you're a narcissist.
Trying to build something. Fox News has dominated discourse in this country for at least 20 years.
He means a corporation.
Almost 30 now. And they've made an enormous difference, and I think for the worse, for the much, much worse. We're trying to build a network that makes a difference for the better. But by the way, you don't have to agree.
Unless you're homeless, trans, Like, I don't understand. Okay. Okay.
Agree with us, and you don't have to say, oh, well, okay, then great, and we should help you and support you. No, you don't have to do that. Build something of your own. Instead of being destructive over and over and over again, how about you be constructive? And you say, hey, Cenk, I don't like the way you guys are doing the TYT network. And I see that you've had this huge success and you've given rise to other progressives that are now having success. And it seems like you helped to build something for our side. Well, you know what, though, these days I don't agree with you. So I'm gonna build something larger. Guess what? I would love that. And
What? Wait. So, wait. Because you have the most followers, you get to dictate what we fight for? Like, we can only criticize you if we build a bigger network than you did. I actually believe that creators can do all of it on their own. They don't need this grifty corporate banner to take their money and their IP. Like, I don't want to build something larger than this because what you created was bound to fail. It was a corporate capitalistic structure, and that's what you're trying to grip onto with your crypt keeper hands, but it ain't working, sister.
whether you build something larger or not, you built, let's say you, instead of building a media company or a media show, you built a platform that actually got Democrats elected, but progressive populist Democrats like Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, et cetera. And then they got those bills passed. Oh my God, I would love you for it. Please do that. Build something positive. And that's what we're trying to do here, okay? So, and I don't say this just for Francesca, and the reason I'm doing this segment isn't just for her or to explain what's going on, but I do want to be clear with you. It's mainly to tell you what we stand for, not just the media end of it, not just
nothing. They stand for nothing. That is exactly what he told you this entire fucking video. He stands for nothing. What everything he fought for over a decade means nothing to him. It was all a grift. It was all vibes, and it was all riding the waves. Like, it's absolutely insane. And now everybody is fucking left, and he looks like a dipshit because there's no smart people around him to make him seem smarter.
But as a community, we all have to be open-minded and open-hearted enough to get these things done and push forward. So, look, last thing is,
I'm struggling, but I'll be open-minded with the liberals. Like, the liberal centrists, like, I'm trying to be open-minded with those stupids. I am not going to be open-minded with so fucking racists, white supremacists, ethno-nationalists, fucking evangelical pieces of shit. Like, pink arm, Bubba gut pieces of fucking shit. As if. Fuck you, Cenk. And fuck them.
I wish Francesca well. I mean, she said those things, and I get it. We've got bad feelings these days, but
oh no, do you have a boo-boo?
All the power to her, okay? If she can convince the country to be on her side on all these issues, even the ones we disagree on, terrific. Go.
Guess what, honey? All the polling is gone towards her side, you dumb bitch. Because this is the part of the issue with the Democratic Party as a whole as well. They look at the polling and they're like, okay, well, we have to stay where the polling is at. The Republicans look at the polling and they're like, we need to keep on going hard, drive this message in. And like, we need to find something that is in the middle of that is not so extreme and is not so chicken shit. Like, we can find something in the middle.
Try that. Try to make that happen. And no problem, happy to have it. Like she said, good career before. I'm sure she will afterwards. You can go check her out wherever she is. So I don't have hard feelings. I'm not angry. I'm just done with it.
She will. She'll have a good career. You won't. Your career is over, I think. I don't know what value you have to offer anybody anymore. You've exposed yourself for, one, being a complete dipshit, an asshole, a terrible boss, and like just kind of like basically you're a misogynist, dude, and especially when it comes to women of color, you have a hard time taking their experiences into account.
I want a positive atmosphere here where we fight for you guys. And we do that in all different ways. So if some hosts have a different idea on how to do it, great, let's have that conversation. We've had that conversations, those debates, those discussions, so we can get to the right answer and so we could help you guys decide what you believe instead of what we believe. So for folks who don't want to be part of that, bless your hearts. Go get them, Tiger, okay? But for
No. Roll that back. I need to.
You guys decide what you believe instead of what we believe. So
Wait. I thought you were a political commentator. Aren't you supposed to say what you believe? Like, what the fuck?
for folks who don't want to be part of that, bless your hearts. Go get them, Tiger, okay? But for folks who think, yeah, that's a great idea, and I'd love to pass the things that are in your populist plank.
This piece of fuck, literally like patting him on the head. Oh, go get him, Tiger. Like, I'm sure that will work for you. Oh, the thing that I've been doing, yelling at right-wingers for the past 20 years, that is something I'm sure that will work for you. Let me pat you on the head. You're so cute. Go get him, Tiger. You condescending cunt. I said, that's the third time I said it, and I'll say it again. You're a condescending cunt, Cenk. The fuck is this?
Incredibly popular policies, higher wages, anti-war, etc. Get money out of politics. So if we can do that together, whether we disagree on some issues or not, wonderful. But whatever you do, please roll forward. Please be mindful of.
Well, you just cited the issues that actually matter as if you are the one fighting for them when you are placating to the fascists with this fucking trans bullshit, with the fucking homelessness issue, with Ana Karen Sparian, her fucking river of white tears that could fucking power the whole fucking world with 5. I hate this motherfucker.
Others that are, in this community, care for each other, love each other, and let's try to be positive together. And let's go build something as we always do at TYT. Love you guys. We'll be right back. Every time you ring the bell below.
Shut the fuck up, you sweaty ham. Be gone, hippo. I I had to include this, and I know I went yapped for a long time, but what the actual fuck, dude? What was that? That was insane. Start to finish, top to bottom, insane. Cuckoo caca insano. What was that? Get this man help. What? Anyways, back to Cam. This is crazy. Sorry. It's just okay, dude. All right. And then the more you dive deeper and deeper and deeper into it, you see a string of this behavior where just behind the scenes, TYT sucks. Cenk sucks. He's a terrible boss. I have no qualms in saying that. And then you start to delve into their politics and what they've been doing the past couple years and how he's been playing patty cake with fascists and fucking basically just pivoting to the right basically, and it's supremely fucking failed for them, which is a whole other topic. But it's just they just expose themselves for the grifter that he always was. You found a market and you were one of the first people to that market, and that was working for you for a while, and then you put your fucking finger in the air, said, oh, the tides are turning right. Maybe I should go grift them. And it failed. And now you're trying to grift back to the fucking, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. That's all I gotta say. It's not gonna work. You do not have any principles except for you're principled in making money, which is crazy. And then you find out other things speaking like not to bring up Hassan again, but I saw a clip that the Vanguard played, and Hassan was literally talking about how Cenk like took. I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't remember what it was exactly, but he like kept money that it was supposed to go to Hassan because Hassan worked for him, and it was like I don't know. If you will choose money even over your goddamn own fucking family, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Not to mention, oh my God, we didn't. Oh my God, how did I forget to mention the birthing person herself, Anna Karen Sparian? She is something else, dude. I don't. She is like the personification of liberal white feminism that popped off in the 2010s. And what I mean by that is a feminist who lacks the knowledge and ability that to acknowledge that feminism at its core is intersectional. And if you are unable or ignorant to that, to unwilling to acknowledge that fact, or ignorant to that fact, you tend to fade into these lanes of life that are not pro-black, pro-brown, pro-immigrant, pro-homeless, pro any of the fucking things that she's placated to fascists for, or like just gave in to her worst fucking like impulses for. It's crazy. She's which it's so annoying because she like when she's good on an issue, she is fucking good. Like which on like women's rights issues generally, if we're not talking about like women's rights on the intersection of being trans or being a black woman, she is not great on those things. She's actually very terrible. She's like I said, and then she has the nerve to white tears could run the earth with like hydro electricity, whatever it's called. I don't know. They could though. We could power the earth with our tears. Damn. Sorry. But she's just like, oh my God. Like I was saying, she's very good on certain issues. Like abortion, she's really good at. Like she's really good on. If you're talking, she's like debating somebody like just pearly things, she's going to be really good. If you're talking about Palestine, she's going to be good on those issues. We're talking about homeless people or the issues of the black or the mistreatment that black people in America face, especially in her disregarding of the black experience. And what was that clip of her that said, like, what did she say? That she's like scared around black people? Scared of saying the wrong thing around black people? That sounds like I don't know what I'm pretty ignorant as to what dog whistles are because like I don't understand why you won't just come out and say that shit. Also, I'm not like super well educated on how people are racist, but that shit, that's like that was that's not microaggression. That was not microaggressive. That was macroaggressive, baby. That was a macroaggression. I don't know what that was. And she just skated on by. How anyways, she's crazy. I don't know. But do you, like if you like then she pulls me back in when I see her on fucking Her Take, that stupid bullshit fucking show that she fucking joined that's fucking funded by a fucking PBD. Anyways, they used to have fucking dumbass Jillian Michaels on it. Now it's just like Lindy Lee, her, and this stupid blonde woman. And and she like like tells off that stupid blonde woman the other day which was great. But then she's just like, God, kind of the worst sometimes. It's just like, ugh, girl. She needs to read a book and not one just about white people. You know what I mean? She needs to like, ooh, white tears, brown scars, girl. Look that up, maybe. Yeah. That's. Anyways, let's get back to fucking Cam because I've been yapping for long enough, and we're supposed to be reacting to him. I'm sorry, Cam. I'm gonna shrink myself first. All right. Okay. Go ahead, Cameron.
Hi, I'm Cam. I used to spit, now I make flicks. The first two parts of this series were about the many suspicious degrees of Rashad Richey, the supposedly progressive host of Indisputable. Since Richey announced an impending lawsuit in his most recent response video, while looking like he was about to cry.
But I see now that a part two and other people are grabbing the commentary. Well, it has to be done.
I figured making another one about him alone would be overkill. This one's about the network itself, specifically their leaders, Cenk Uygur, that's how the founder of TYT, Cenk Uygur pronounces his name, by the way, and the self-labeled politically homeless Ana Kasparian. Though they've both done a lot of great work in...
I forgot about that. And she came out as like, was it? Like, unaligned? Girl. Anyways.
The media for decades, and there's no way I can erase thousands of videos pushing progressive messaging and causes. Many people on the left see them as deeply compromised in more ways than one. I'm also not letting their COO and former CEO Jack Gerard off the hook either. You don't get to fade to black just because you ain't a celebrity. Assuming all of y'all have heard of this YouTube OG news organization would be a mistake. So let's run that down real quick. The Young Turks is an American progressive news network founded by Cenk, Ben Mankiewicz, and Dave Kohler in 2002. They actually launched on Sirius satellite radio in the early days, then hopped on YouTube and Twitch when those platforms rolled out. Ana worked her way into a partner position fairly early on, and even took over editorial control after Cenk became a politician. TYT is co-hosted by Cenk and Ana on the flagship broadcast, with a gang of shows targeting different left-leaning demographics. A variety of hosts anchor those shows, including our best friend, Rashad. I hear everybody loves John Iadarola and The Damage Report.
There is not a pure soul at the network than John, I'll be honest.
I love to hear it. I've heard great things about sports and politics commentator J.R. Jackson.
I do like JR.
OG news anchor David Schuster, and I've heard of Nina Turner through the grapevine. Everybody else doesn't ring a bell, but they got a lot of shows, bruh. At any given time of day, one of their shows is live, which seems like it was the whole goal of building so many spinoffs in the first place. I interviewed Dan Evans, aka Dan from the Internet, a former producer and guest host for the Young Turks, and collaborated with their former editor, writer, and co-host, Hank Thompson, who's been eyeballs deep in his own expose, covering the scandal around TYT's union-busting saga called Tell the Truth, Cenk. I'll be including snippets of that, but over an hour of it is available on YouTube right now, and they're previews, but incredibly solid. Both of them reached out to me when they heard I was covering this, laid out some pretty strong evidence in Hank's case, and some important background info in Dan's case. I also reached out to former TYT contributor Jeff Wiggins from We Gon' Be Alright, who linked me to the videos made by other former contributors discussing why they left, or, in the case of Francesca, got banned by TYT. You'll see clips from them throughout this piece as well. I'll be clear right now that I'm...
What they did to Francesca, I feel like I started to go into it, but then I got sidetracked. What they did to Francesca was so fucking gross. One, like, it's one thing to have like a debate, and then for her to be so level-headed, logical. I remember watching parts of the debate. She would like pull out like passages of books and like literally just like, she was reading that man. Like, she won that debate through and through. And you could see Cenk just like getting worked up and like just being a dick to her. And like, what they were arguing about is literally what's happening right now. Like, people are getting thrown into concentration camps. It is like the gulag. She was right. People are getting shot in the face, shot in the back. Cenk, where are you now? Like, she deserves a fucking apology. And she deserves to be told that she was fucking right. Fucking asshole.
I'm not attacking anyone. My constructive criticism has nothing to do with the network's contributors, producers, writers, or on-air talent beyond Cenk, Ana, and Richie. After reviewing all the evidence, my conclusion is that despite all the measurable good this network has done for progressive causes, representing one of the strongest...
And Oluyemi Olorin deserves a fucking apology as well. We're being real.
To Republican media dominance over the past 20 years, their corporation is losing favor with their left-leaning fan base for very clear corporation-related reasons. The core values listed on the Young Turks website are not consistently supported by the actions and words of their leadership. And the sum total of these actions is much more reminiscent of naked capitalism than it is progressive. For the purposes of this video, here's the definition of progressive straight from the U.S. State Department. Progressives are, quote, interested in furthering social and political reform, curbing political corruption caused by political machines, and limiting the political influence of large corporations.
No, Cam, you're wrong. Being progressive is about wanting to get a beer with the other person at the other end of the day, right? I'm just kidding. I just had to take a shot at Cenk. Sorry.
Rashad ain't off the hook either.
The man who got a fucking beer with Charlie Kirk, by the way, was glazing Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson. Bitch, as if. The fuck? You guys don't want to talk to MAGA. Sorry.
We'll cover his past affiliation with conservative figures and wild statements about progressives in one of his dissertations. But I gotta light up his employers first for me to make this point effectively. Let's pay the bills, then get to it. Shout out to my longtime sponsor, Aura, for making these investigations possible. I'll keep it quick. So this time when I logged in, Aura hit me with an update on one of the data brokers they checked out for me. This is happening nonstop while I'm eating, sleeping, making these videos. You get it. What's different about this factual data broker is that they actually didn't have my information. I haven't seen this before, but Aura lets me know when they don't find anything. That's dope. I really can't ask for more as far as transparency goes. I mentioned last time that I was going to explain more about the vault. It's what it sounds like, a safe place for crucial info and documents like your IDs, your IP, passport, etc. It's sectioned out by category. I only have one checking account on file for now, but you can log in a brokerage, savings, and more. Try Aura out for yourself using my link aura.com/CamJames for 2 weeks absolutely free. On this channel, we protect each other from scams, break down politics and culture, speak truth to power, and talk our way into legal threats. Let's get to it. Say my name. You acting kinda shady. This is a small part of this story, but we can't skip it. The name the Young Turks is a popularized term among Turkish people that refers to a group of anti-establishment forces working to establish a constitutional government instead of a monarchy in the Ottoman Empire. Before you turn the video off, this whole thing won't be a history lesson. That's just what it means. It's become a more general reference to young rebels fighting the power, like Public Enemy. Back in 1991, when I was saying my first English words, Cenk Uygur,
Wait a minute.
More general reference to young rebels fighting the power.
Sorry, I forgot.
Like Public Enemy.
I could clock that man from a mile away. I swear to God.
Back in 1991, when I was saying my first English words,
clock. Sorry.
Cenk Uygur, a Turkish East Brunswick, New Jersey native, was a senior management major at UPenn, writing for their newspaper, the Daily Pennsylvanian. He called his column, How You Like Me Now, Baby, which screams preppy Gen X, but I'll let that one go. And in this article, called Historical Fact or Falsehood. He uses 1,200 words to convince readers that the Armenian genocide did not happen. I've put the whole thing in the description in case y'all want to read it. He was really going in, talking about what 69 American professors wrote to Congress, nice, gassing up those professors' qualifications ad nauseum to make sure we believe him, like another person we know, and even leaning on the words of a rear admiral working for the US government who called the genocide misinformation. What actually happened is that the Ottoman Empire's officials were shook at the prospect of Armenians joining the Russian war effort, so they wiped 1.5 million of them out via executions and forced marches. And yes, forced marches are a form of genocide. Remember the Trail of Tears? That was an American genocide committed against Native Americans, as an example. Fast forward to 2025, and Cenk is on the Lex Fridman podcast discussing what made him take that stance originally and how he came to disavow that article and admit that the Armenian genocide did actually happen.
Growing up in any tribe, whether it's a religious tribe or an ethnic tribe, you're going to get indoctrinated into that tribe's way of thinking. I'm in college, and I read about some battle that the Ottoman Empire lost. And I'm like, that can't be right. The Turks have only lost one war, World War I, right? And I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I got taught that in 3rd grade in Turkey. Of course that's not true. That's ridiculously untrue, right? I read the Turkish version, right? And the Turkish version has all of this evidence, right? So it's real in that it exists. And that one was so indoctrinated that it was tough to let go. And so Anna and I disagree on things from time to time, and we've been co-hosting now she's been at the Young Turks for 18 years and co-hosting for, almost 18. And so she's Armenian. It just dawned on me like, no, this too was obviously propaganda. So at that point, once you realize that, it becomes easier. That's why I'm trying to unplug people from the matrix.
Okay, bet. He changed his mind when he realized he was wrong. Here's the problem with that though. He still refuses to change the name. Anna defended it too in a now deleted tweet, even though she's Armenian. Quote, we've explained the name 1 billion times. You know what it means, and you know the type of coverage we do. To perpetuate the same lies over and over again, which of course directs harassment and disinformation towards me, is an odd move, especially right now, end quote. Given what we know about this historical event, it's like calling your progressive news organization the Hitler Youth. Anna knows this and defended it for one reason. She didn't like how the public was making her feel about it. Cenk did the same thing for the same reason. Of course, harassment isn't okay in any circumstances, but public pressure is another thing entirely. As a person who's worked at marketing agencies for most of my adult life, it seems as if this pretty cut and dry Washington Redskins-ass situation has a very obvious solution, but it would be a pain for them logistically. Any organization that publishes media on the scale that they do, which is thousands of videos a year, would need to dedicate a whole month of some unpaid intern's time to make sure any name change is reflected as widely as possible and to make sure their SEO and marketing campaigns are flipped to match. By refusing to change the name and complaining about the public pointing out this obvious conflict with their progressive ideals, Cenk and Ana are putting their comfort above doing the right thing.
Well, also their coin. Like, let's be real. The only thing that motivates them is money. It would cost a lot of money to rebrand. It would. To reprint everything, like he said, pay that fucking person, like that would be a lot of money. It would be a lot cheaper just not. And also, like, when you ask people to introspect, they often say no.
This is what's called a theme. That was the pay with TYT.
No one will say it's great. I will say Hassan has previously talked about being underpaid at TYT, and I'll even contest to that because, funny enough, I was paid more than him.
Wow.
So
that says a lot by itself. Yeah.
Baby, I wasn't like family with Cenk or anything, but because I was such a young kid and because I'd shown such interest at a young age, Cenk sort of protected me in a lot of different ways.
Your uncle was letting everybody steal your sales deals at too.
That's true.
His uncle would like let him massage a sales deal to the last thing, then someone would swoop in and close it and take the commission.
Objectively, Hassan was like a host. He would leave, especially near the end of his time at TYT. He would leave and start doing his Twitch streams. He would basically come in, do the script we worked on, leave, and then, you know, that was it. I'd be there producing 2 or 3 shows, so like I better have been paid more. But you know, that's all to say that it was under market rate for probably the job I was doing, but in the world of digital media, it wasn't obscene. There are other people who were definitely getting paid under market rate, and I think there were some before the union efforts. I remember hearing some mutterings over.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Francesca Fiorentini also was like, she had a full-time contract with them signed, and then they like broke the contract like right before she was supposed to like start a full-time job with them, and then they kept her on part-time for like years, to the point where like, and if you keep somebody on part-time, you don't have to give them healthcare. So it's just like, or benefits or anything. It's like, okay. And it was that breach of their, like, the way that they broke that contract was done in a way which she could have sued, and she probably should have, but she believed in the message of what they were selling, and it is selling because it's not truly what they believe. Like, I don't know what they believe. They believe in money.
Some people who were working who eventually started forming the union. So like editors, studio technicians, anyone who would be covered under IATSE, they were talking about being like legally underpaid the like California minimum wage for a salaried employee. So I was aware that those kind of things were happening even before 2020.
I had this IP, this intellectual property of the show that I like built out of the for free, that I did because I wanted to do it on the side. It's something I wanted, and I knew they were not gonna, like, originally they were not gonna let me do it unless I do it for free, which is, you know, kind of lame.
And this is your uncle's company.
Yeah, it's my uncle's company. It got very popular, and instead of giving me additional funds to be like, here, let's build out the show more, let's give you a writer, you know, because I did this in the supply closet basically. I put a green screen up there and I started filming myself. They were like, oh yeah, we're gonna take this IP and we're gonna give it to all the other hosts so we can like make more of the same type of videos without spending any extra money. And that's when I was like, damn, I have no ownership over this. My uncle was like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to hire someone and skirt some serious like labor regulation.
Why is a network that proclaims itself to be the home of progressives a main supporter of Bernie Sanders?
I have also been, I have worked for a family. I worked for my father. I'll be real about it. I don't have a relationship with him anymore. That's not the issue that probably came out back, but I mean, it definitely wasn't. It was a really bad experience, and I also was kind of exploited in a labor way, and it's a really gross feeling, and it just speaks to the narcissism of some people. It
and all these other different
really fucking pisses me off.
People try to start doing some union busting tactics that are straight out of the book.
In 2020,
I should probably have the closed captions on. Sorry.
Cenk tried to prevent his staff from unionizing, using every union busting tactic in the playbook. This isn't
the Progressive Network. The Progressive Network, the leftist network, was busting a union. Huh? What? Oh. Okay.
Isn't something a progressive does, and it also isn't breaking news. The whole saga has played out across the media pretty far and wide for years now. The union went public on February 12th.
God, he's just a sweaty ham of a man, isn't he?
2020, catching TYT leadership by surprise. And I'll let Hank take it from here.
I also want to shout out Hank Thompson.
Hi, I'm Hank. I worked at TYT as well as for the Jimmy Dore Show in various iterations over the years. I was a longtime paying member before I began working for the company in 2013. As a video editor and lizard massager, I was on the ground floor of this organizing drive.
This Twitter page pops up out of nowhere, right? And it's TYT Union.
They'd used card check, an election process in which 50%, let help, Bernie.
If 50% of workers in a bargaining unit plus one sign a card saying they want to join a union, they will have a union. End of discussion. End of discussion.
End of discussion.
Fine. End of relationship.
After 9 days of silence, the company formally rejected voluntary recognition, saying they were prepared to voluntarily recognize the union, but only after a second election was conducted on terms more favorable to the company. While they wanted people to believe they were protecting the democratic will of the workers, it was in fact, as labor journalist Sarah Jones pointed out, classic union busting. Their statement was, put another way, total
bullshit.
What followed was a period of union busting that seemed right out of the union busting playbook. Every single tactic was a tried and true technique for disrupting solidarity, save one: publicly smearing the workers' integrity, intelligence, and motivations by accusing them of being in a conspiracy with Cenk Uyghur's political opponent.
Seriously, go watch that. I've linked it on screen.
I can't even. I have zero words. Absolutely zero words for that man thinking he had any business anyway. Okay.
And in the description, we're going to take a closer look at some of the things. And
narcissists are crazy. Like, what? You run for president? Brother. Oh, brother. This guy stinks. Okay.
Ana said that Hank put on screen, then moved to Cenk's statements. Hank and Cenk are different people, by the way. Please pay attention. In these tweets, Ana's going ham on IATSE, which stands for the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. It's a union representing entertainment workers, like the ones at TYT. Criticizing a union...
Surprised it wasn't like an organization benefiting the homeless.
For endorsing someone who seems to not be very progressive is fair game, right? But Ana wasn't doing this out of the goodness of her heart. She was indirectly lashing out at her own coworkers.
While I'm personally supportive of unions, that's not a good start. This feels like it's done in bad faith. She finishes by calling the situation extremely suspicious.
Why would you criticize the decisions of a union your coworkers are deciding to join, as if that has anything to do with whether they deserve representation or not? You have representation.
As a worker, Ana's had personal experience with how scary asking for a raise can be.
I don't like freaking asking for raises or negotiating. That's why I have an agent. My agent negotiates that stuff for me because I can't do it, right? So,
well, it's an uncomfortable process for everyone.
Worst.
She's right. It is the worst, since very few have a private union, an agent.
If you know you're doing the work and you're doing the work well, ask what you deserve. Fuck that. I've never asked for a raise, but I've definitely been I've told them I deserve a promotion. And I'm not trying to be indignant or rude or what, but like, I'm not going to continue putting in this work if we're not going to have a path to a promotion, which leads to higher pay. But sometimes when you're in like that, like food service, retail world, the only way you can get a raise is like if you get a promotion. So advocate for yourself. Don't be scared to fucking do it. The worst thing they can say is no. What are they gonna do? Fire you because you asked for a raise? I think that's illegal. I don't know, but like, Fuck your boss.
A company-wide union would elevate everyone out of the intimidating subjugation Anna's agent helps her avoid.
Right, that's called having your own personal union. As Hank went on to point out, you're doing this to defend your boss. Now, what did Cenk say about it?
Our relationship got off to a bumpy start in the beginning.
As for Cenk, he did a lot more than just speak on the air. And this conflict was a lot more than just a bumpy start. He and TYT leadership spoke with the company's bankroll. I rarely get to say this, but Hank did some of this investigative work for me already.
The other tactics, all documented in these 4 articles, none of which the company has refuted, might seem so familiar because, as NLRB filings would later reveal, the Young Turks hired 2 anti-worker management-side law and consultancy firms. Since the home of progressives is largely member-funded, it stands to reason that the audience deserves to know how much they spent on union busting, if any. How much member money did TYT send to these anti-worker law firms?
For those listening in the car or while doing dishes, he just pulled up the receipts showing that TYT's 2 hired firms specialize in union busting. Here's a notice TYT had to post in their office for 60 days after violating Section 7 of the agreement with the National Labor Relations Board. Remember how TYT leadership said they voluntarily agreed with the agreement and were prepared to accept unionization? All that language is a front. If they wanted to agree to that first majority vote, also referred to as card check, they could have. It was a lie. There's a lot more to this story, but Hank's got y'all covered for that. We gotta move on to the next reason I call TYT the throne of fake progressives: blatant transphobia. But first, I came across this NGO report page in my research, and they were talking about TYT being pro-Israel while providing zero proof of it.
Recently, a media outlet did a hit job on us, and because we were criticizing Israel and we support others who criticize Israel, they said, well, that's it, you're anti-Semitic. In fact, Jew haters. Okay. Now, my proposition is that they're liars, and they never clarified to people that we actually speak out against anti-Semitism all the time, and we say do not conflate Jews and Israel. That is a government, and our Jewish American brothers and sisters are one of us.
Do not blame the entire Jewish population for the war crimes that are committed by the Israeli government, because I'm not an idiot. I can tell the difference between the two, and I judge people as individuals, not as an entire group. I don't believe in blood guilt.
As we've said on the Young Turks now literally thousands of times, it is not about Jews. If you conflate the two, that is going to cause not just terrible anti-Semitism, but it's irrational and it's wrong. Jewish people are not getting their orders from stupid Netanyahu. Will some of them listen to him like Larry Ellison? Of course, because those are pro-Israel zealots, but that does not represent all Jewish people at all. Please, please do not believe them when they say such outrageous things that drive up anti-Semitism. Israel does not represent all Jewish people. Nobody called my friends, Jewish friends and family, and said, hey, you guys want to buy TikTok to do Israeli propaganda? Hey, would you like to kill more Palestinians? They didn't do that.
Do not conflate the Jewish people with the far-right terrorist regime that's currently governing Israel.
One of the few things that's redeemable for TYT right now are when Cenk and Ana go onto shows like Piers Morgan, and they're some of the only anti-Zionist.
That's the thing, is that they're really good when they're good. Like, that's like, I think that's part of it that's so frustrating to all of us, is like watching these people just drive off the cliff and not even like you're happy about it, like Thelma and Louise. It's like girl, I don't know what to tell you.
Voices, and they hold pretty strong positions on this. And you know, I was moderately amused by Ana Kasparian slapping Bill Maher across his own podcast for his, you know, bad takes.
I don't like Israel as an ally to the United States. I don't. I think Israel is committing war crimes, atrocities. Also,
I will say, when she, I don't know if it was, when she did that unintentionally or not, when she did that, I think it was accidental. I don't know. To give her good grace, well, I mean, no, she doesn't deserve the good grace. intentionally or not, that fucking time that she did the greedy merchant meme was crazy. Crazy. Girl, I don't know.
Sorts of disgusting behavior by this Israeli government and its military that should be condemned.
Yeah, I think they're pretty clear on that one, fam. Okay, the transphobia. I've been on the internet for a long time, and religious black people usually get really mad about me being an ally. So we got to put some definitions on screen as we enter the transphobia section. The UK organization Transactual sums it up well. Quote, the core value underlying all transphobia is a rejection of trans identity and a refusal to acknowledge that it could possibly be real or valid. This includes, but is not limited to, attempting to remove trans people's rights, misrepresenting trans people, abuse, systematically excluding trans people from discussions about issues that directly affect them, and other forms of discrimination. What did TYT do or say to qualify as transphobic? This is where I bring in Bonnie, a former contributor for the network. They made this video about why they left.
We're mostly going to be focusing on their transphobia, which they have been escalating rapidly, which I guess is something that everybody really predicted would happen starting, I think, about 6 months ago, 4 months ago, when Ana Kasparian put out a tweet complaining about the use of the term birthing person, which is really, really funny because she kept on talking about how, like, it erases women, and it minimizes womanhood down to just body parts. Except for it literally doesn't. Everybody very immediately pointed out that that's a...
So does the term female. That's what it is. What makes you female? Your reproductive organs, Anna. That's literally what it means. Like, I don't know what to, like
a silly thing to say that, in fact, thinking that the term woman and birthing person are completely interchangeable actually does reduce women to body parts.
It was from Dr. Michelle Morrison. It said the urgency of this moment is clear. Mortality rates of birthing people are too high, and babies born to Black and Puerto Rican mothers in this city are 3 times more likely to die in their first year of life than babies born to non-Hispanic white birthing people.
I'm speculating that she doesn't want to say mothers because mothers is gendered and she's worried about offending birthing people. Like, birthing people, really? Come on. For me, it's not even like, oh, I don't want to be inclusive and I don't want to think of, transgender people. It's the phrasing, like, it just makes you sound like a weird object that, like, you're a vessel and nothing more. Like, birthing people just sounds weird.
Okay. I'm sure he's gonna break it. Like, he's about to say, let me break this down. Okay. Your response is not like the way you're responding to that simple usage of a phrase, which I will admit that the phrasing that she used could probably be better. I would use for people who can give birth or for parents or whatever. But the punishment does not fit the crime. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your reaction is not matching what is what was said, and it is not a reason for you to be so indignant. Like, why are you so like up? Like, I just want to, like, Jesus Christ, she needs a joint or something. Like, fuck. I don't know, girl. Go get a pedicure or something. Take a long bath. You are so uptight about everything. Crazy. And it, like, if you have to qualify, like, it's not that I don't want to be inclusive, but, like, you're already going down the wrong road. No. Like, just stop yourself there, girl. Like, and why is it so, like, why is it such a big deal? What is the point of, like, if you actually recognize trans men as men and non-binary people as non-binary, then you wouldn't really have an issue with it because she's not singling out women. she's singling out people who can give birth, which includes a vast majority of people across the gender spectrum. And so you're like, there is like, it's just, girl, nobody is asking you to identify yourself as a birthing person. Nobody ever asked you that. Nor did anybody really call you one. Okay? Like, it's just like, okay, girl. This is what I'm talking about with the fucking intersectionality. She's good on issues that affect her, but she's not good on issues. She's is unable to walk down the intersection of feminism. Like, she's purely stuck on the white side. She is unable to traverse the neighborhood. Like, it's crazy.
All right, let me break this idea down for everyone in my audience who's going to argue about it. Inclusive language isn't developed to force you to go along with it. I'll give you an example. Cisgender. In my last video, I dropped that term in reference to me, and a few of y'all pulled the same shit Ana pulled in this situation. Righteous anger over being forced to call yourself cisgender. What did I say in response? That nobody asked you to call yourself anything. This language isn't created for no reason to make progressives feel better or shame everybody else. Cisgender was first popularized on the internet by a biologist in 1994. You know, a science person. There's competing ideas that it originated as far back as 1914 in German literature, but it ain't new either way. Y'all act like transgender people ran in the room and told you what you're allowed to say. Y'all act like they did something wild, like prevent you from getting medical care or threaten your reproductive rights. To address this specific term, birthing person, it isn't the same as woman. Opponents will just say everyone with a uterus is a woman and storm out the room. Well, now that you're gone, the rest of us can acknowledge that trans men can also have uteruses, or uteri. If a politician or public figure has to choose a term to address legislation or policy towards everyone who's able to give birth, what else would they say? You might not like the sound of it, which is fine. It's pretty awkward. I think we can come up with something better personally. I like birth squad. What isn't up for debate is that the term has a real purpose.
Like, while you might not enjoy the technical language,
Love Emma Vigeland.
that awkwardness is inevitable in this current climate and necessary because we're trying to like fortify walls right now as trans erasure is widespread right now. Like, there's a barrage of deliberately trans exclusionary language, which is what some of the awkward, stilted terminology is meaning to beat back.
Ana's too smart to not see that, which reinforces my point that she doesn't want to let go of these popular stances. Popular on the right.
It's like, anytime we ask straight, cis, white people generally, and even a lot of the time cis white people, there's a lot of queer people who are unwilling to introspect, but anytime we ask straight, cis, white people, those type of people, to introspect or challenge their knowledge of a system or like just progress a little bit, it's like, no, I can't. It's like they become conservative. It's so crazy. I don't understand. And I understand, like, growth is painful. And so I understand that it is uncomfortable to have these conversations in which we may be complicit in the problem. But we have to in order to grow. If you're not growing or evolving as a person, then you're dead, in my personal opinion. So I don't understand why people are so averse to it. I get that it's uncomfortable, like I said, but growth is uncomfortable. Like I said it before, but when you were a kid and you would get pains in your legs and you'd be like, what the fuck is happening? You ask your fucking mom and she'd be like, oh, you're getting growing pains. Pain or growth is painful. It's meant to be. And it's worth it in the end. And a lot of white people, especially straight white people, cis straight white people, have a really hard time not clamming up and just standing in what they know because it's comfortable and it gives them a level of security that is starting to be challenged, mind you, with fascism and like the ice on the streets and everything. But they are unwilling to it's like they're unwilling to set aside their privilege and really challenge these structures because these structures benefit them. The heteronormative, cisgender normative, white supremacist, for being honest, nature of America has benefited Ana Kasparian. And so when she is being asked to challenge those things, she's also being asked to give up a level of privilege. Because once you are the white person challenging these things, you will also be kind of on the outside. Of course, you will be able to traverse in the crowds as a white person, but being a vocal person fighting for anti-racism and against these imperialist and heteronormative and fucking stupid Eurocentric ideas, like, white people are not willing to be at the least bit marginalized. And it is very telling when these movements happen in which a marginalized community voice becomes heard for the first time in a while. If we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, I know that Ana Kasparian had a few takes that were kind of crazy on that. And even we talked about it earlier, like I mentioned her saying that she was scared to like what to say around black people. Like, you're weird. You're a fucking weirdo, bitch. Like, that's crazy. What are you talking about? Just be a fucking normal person. Also, why do you think that every black person is on the offensive? You're like I really thought that the Black Lives Matter movement and like watching a fellow citizen be there's not even words to describe what happened to George Floyd. Obviously, yes, the word is murdered, but it doesn't encapsulate what happened to that man, and the fact that we were able to see it on video for that long. And not only that, there's so many, I mean, you go back to, I remember I was 13 years old, 12 or 13 years old, when Trayvon Martin was murdered on the street for wearing a hoodie and having a pack of Skittles or something. And I just don't understand how you saw that, because everybody saw that, and especially fucking Ana Kasparian is a fucking political commentator. She was aware of it. How did you see that and then it not radicalize you in a way? Trayvon was one of the first times I was able to see a crime and see one of my sisters, like my sister was his age, so, and she was a tomboy, so she always had like guy friends, and I'm from a diverse area, and so some of those guy friends happen to be black, and so I was able to really, it was one of the first times I was able to actually visualize a crime and like connect it to my real life, because I knew a bunch of guys around his age, and just like conceptual. It was just like one of the first times I was really able to personalize a crime like that. And I don't know how that made me hyper fixate on police brutality, and then going further, the Black Lives Matter movement, and learning so much because I could not wrap my mind around that shit. It was one of the most insane things that I've ever experienced. And then it just kept on fucking happening. Like Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, countless other fucking names. It's as I was saying, I thought that people would have experienced 2020 and really introspected. And what did we get? Black squares on Instagram? Like, I don't know. Crazy. I still no. They're still not willing to do the really introspect. And I'm starting to see some people make that journey because it's getting really hard to ignore with fucking ICE rounding people up off the street, murdering people in broad daylight. Like, and now white people at that. Crazy. And this is what black people have been saying for decades. I mean, you can go back to 1991 in Los Angeles. This is the police force and the way that police is enabled to act in America is an extremely violent system, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And for a long time, it has been mainly targeted at a few different groups of people, mainly the black community in America, because the violence towards the black community in America has been it's been a core tenet of the country since it was incepted. But there also went through times like post 9/11, there was a lot of harassment, especially from the FBI towards members of the Muslim community in America. Like there's a long history of this, especially with ICE as well. I mean, we've heard horror stories coming out of ICE detention centers for years. We've seen people be rounded up off the street for years. They're just doing it more aggressively now. They're doing it more in your face. You just were not willing to listen to brown people when they were screaming it from the fucking rooftops. That's what's different now. So now people are starting to make the journey, but it's not enough, and it's not fast enough. Like, at what point are black and brown people going to matter enough for you that you will actually care about these issues? Just general well-being. Like, I don't want people to be treated poorly. And like I said, black people have been screaming this from the fucking rooftops. Brown people have been screaming this from the rooftops. And at the end of it, the caveat is always, one day they will come for you too. And now they are. Look at Renee Good. Look at Alex Preddy. They were both white people. Yes, Renee Good was queer, which has no fucking importance here. But even Alex Preddy was a straight white man, a cis straight white man in America with a license for a gun. That is one of the most privileged people in like that. That's literally like, if he had a little bit more money, he would literally be the most privileged class in the world, really. But like the chickens have come home to roost. Like the leopards are eating our face. Like, this is where we're at now. Like, this is what happens when you like an entire country just sits by and allows this violent nature towards entire groups of the fucking country, your community. Crazy.
Specifically, she has that in common with Cenk. Y'all have become Karens. Believe it or not, this debate over terminology is the tip of the iceberg. This gets way worse.
Cenk seemed convinced of this idea that I'm living in some sort of bubble. They've even said it on the air, that people fighting for trans rights are all living in some sort of bubble. I was like, no.
We're living in some type of bubble? Oh, okay.
No, Cenk, you don't understand. I matched with a random person on Tinder, and the first thing that they started talking to me about is how transphobic TYT has been lately. Because I think that they had just kind of figured out who I was. And Cenk was like, no, see, you're living in a bubble. And it's like, yeah, okay, buddy. That completely random person I matched with on Tinder is just part of the bubble that I'm.
Also, like, I cannot say, like, you have this trans person who worked for you and contributed to your network, made you a lot of money, I'm assuming, and they're telling you how they feel, and your immediate reaction is to dismiss them and tell them they're living in a bubble? Okay.
Magically living in. But really that kind of gave me the vibe of like, oh, Cenk really thinks that like every trans person is part of some sort of ideology, that we're of like a strict like political viewpoint, and that we don't.
Or is hysterical, like something like that, some fucking like old, gross.
Don't just exist as like a type of person that exists, you know?
So we got Cenk generalizing all trans people as living in a bubble, which is somehow both condescending and transphobic. They're not a hive mind. This ain't sci-fi, bruh. Next, we're back to Ana as she complains about teens being given puberty blockers and gender-affirming care.
I pointed out something that Ana.
I'm sure they will get on to it. But how the fuck does that affect you, Ana? How the fuck does that affect you? Why are we, like, I'm so tired of cis straight people being in queer people's business. How about you go mind yours? Stop worrying about our genitals. Stop worrying about what we are doing, what our medical care looks like. Like, how about you go worry about yourself? Huh? Like, out of all of the things, why is this such a, like, 1% of the fucking population is trans? 1%. It's insane.
Had said on the air where I was like, hey, Ana said this bit about doctors giving hormone therapy to children because they were afraid of being called transphobic. And I was very clear. I was like, you know that's not happening, right? Like, you know that isn't happening. And Cenk's response was, you know, I don't know. See, I could see it happening though. And I'm like, no, but you couldn't. Because, you know, if that actually did happen, that would be medical malpractice, and it would be like a federal case to just give kids hormone replacement therapy because you didn't want to seem transphobic. That's ridiculous on its.
Teenagers are given puberty blockers. That's not how it's. Puberty blockers work in a way that your hormones will come, like, if you decide that this is not a journey or a pathway that you want to take in life, you can come off of them pretty easily and develop. They're children. Who gives a fuck? They get, like, it's weird. You're weird. Like, stop. Who cares? Let them be them.
Face is ridiculous.
Then there was what happened to Jesse Single, which I found disgusting. I didn't know about that until at some point this year. I would say earlier this year.
With the trans stuff? Jesse's been on the show before. Yeah, he's done great.
Jesse Single is a good faith, I think, critical thinker. I haven't seen anything from Jesse Single that communicates to me that he is a transphobe, that he is a bad person. He did straight news reporting on basically what, you know, some of the risks could be when it comes to transitioning literal kids. I learned that I was wrong about a bunch of other things, right? So for instance, it is a lie that puberty blockers are reversible. In some cases, they are not, and they can cause irreparable harm. And look, you might think okay, but you got to do a balancing act. And if a child or if a teenager has severe gender dysphoria, and it would actually be better for that person to go on puberty blocks. Okay, I mean, we should be able to balance that out. But my point here is withholding the information because you don't like the information getting out there ain't the way to go, because that destroys any opportunity for us to actually have a good faith debate about what we should do moving.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of queer people just being like a debate topic. Why can't we just have the same rights as you? Have the same lives. We'll just be over here minding our business and you be over there. I'm so tired of queer people being this like enigma in America where like should they have the ability to be married like every other human in the world? Like, yes, they should. We should. Like, should you be able to decide what to do for your own fucking healthcare? Yeah, you probably should. And this is coming from the same fucking person who would like say these exact same fucking arguments about like, should we decide about our own healthcare? She would say that about abortion. So the fact that she can't apply that same logic to this is reading as very transphobic. Goddamn fucking turf. It's backwards. But it says, no turfs, no turfs. Beach.
Moving forward.
But I think the real icing on the cake here is this tweet where Ana Kasparian has decided to unilaterally declare Jesse Singal to not be a transphobe, despite...
Who the fuck gave you the... Who told you that you get to decide that?
This is what's really wild.
You goddamn birthing person.
Jesse Singal literally talking to whistleblowers at a medical facility that appear to have made some significant HIPAA violations about their patients in sharing the information that they did with Jesse Singal. And of course, you have him running around spewing all of the same transphobic nonsense that basically your average transphobe is gonna be spreading. You know, the types of things about like, oh, we don't know about hormones, and oh, HRT for kids, and oh my god, it's so terrifying. Oh my goodness, they're turning all of our kids transgender.
I'm not the best qualified to discuss the full spectrum of topics under this umbrella, so I'm limiting my analysis to very specific parts of the discussion. This is where I took a timeout, researched Jesse Singal, and actually read the article Anna's referencing. Singal's both a notable journalist who's written for large publications like the New York Times, and a person who many progressives and trans rights organizations have labeled a transphobe. Did I find evidence of his transphobia? Absolutely. Is the article Anna's discussing transphobic? It didn't seem so until I dug deeper. Since people call him a transphobe, let's analyze the author more closely first. There's many instances where he was accused of transphobia besides this article, but I'll focus on a couple. He has demonstrably lied about a teen receiving hormone therapy after a 10-minute assessment. When called out for lying about it by the teen in question on Twitter, he deleted the tweet and blamed everyone but himself for misconstruing the facts. Spreading dangerous lies and failing to take accountability for them is transphobic. In another instance, he was also accused of defending Dr. Kenneth Zucker while writing for The Cut in 2016. Zucker was accused of recommending gender-conforming techniques to convert kids to a cisgender standard, so like conversion therapy adjacent. Zucker maintains that wasn't accurate, but got fired from his clinic anyway after public pressure led to what he calls a show trial. I didn't think Singal's reporting rose to the level of transphobia here, since he also presents the criticisms of Zucker in very plain language throughout. This just felt like reporting to me until I read other people's opinions about it. This article by Lily Franks showed me what I was missing. Singal appears to have an agenda in his reporting from the outset, then does what he needs to do to arrive at that conclusion. In this case, he hyper-focused on one attack against Zucker that he could disprove, that Zucker called a child hairy little vermin when they took their shirt off. Turns out that didn't happen. What did happen is all the accounts from parents and patients that they were uncomfortable with their care and that Zucker pushed them towards limiting rules and recommendations to get their behavior closer to cisgender kids. Cherry picking your arguments ain't the move, Jesse. I've been guilty of it before, which is why I try to find information that disproves my biases. I presented those two examples to show that there's times where he's very clearly transphobic and times where the answer wouldn't be as clear to a layperson. There's so many more examples of him attacking trans people for criticizing his work, encouraging social media mobs to go after them, and more. Those are in the cited sources doc in the description. In interest of time, I'll move on to the article he wrote for The Atlantic because it's a big deal. The link is also in the description. I encourage y'all to read it and make up your own mind. Critics of his work, like GLAAD, G-L-A-A-D, insist that he focused too hard on rare cases of people who identify as detransitioned or desisted. Detransitioned refers to people who have stopped or reverted steps taken as part of a gender transition, while desisted refers to people who stopped or reverted their steps to socially transition but hadn't progressed to anything medical yet. I know there's competing definitions out there. Y'all bear with me. Those are the commonly accepted ones. They also accuse Single of amplifying the phenomenon of social contagion, meaning children being influenced by social factors to become gender dysphoric. His article was literally used in court cases to strip transgender people of their rights. The worst part, he actively hid the fact that out of the 4 detransitioned people he interviewed, compared to the 2 happily transitioned people, already out of balance here, 3 of the detransitioned people were either directly associated with the anti-trans organization Fourth Wave Now, or, like the 4th one, they had a parent who was. This is deceptive and paints a very anti-trans picture of this article, in my view. Hidden agendas ain't cool when lives are at stake. Single's defenders argue that he interviewed doctors, transgender teens, and adults who self-identify.
These are the same type of men who will be talking about how, like, the suicide rate among men is the highest. You don't care about mental health because you will antagonize trans people, send hate mobs after them, like literally like dedicate your life to fucking antagonizing an entire group of people who also has very high rates of suicide. Like, you don't give a fuck, motherfucker.
Identify as happily transitioned, detransitioned, and desisted. Parents on all sides of the issue, scientists, affirming therapists, neutral therapists, etc. And he spent a lot of time reinforcing the idea that transgender people are valid, deserve affirming care, and face significant obstacles in our current society. If anything, his main point seems to be that rushed affirming care has consequences. But he clearly bent the methodology to arrive at that conclusion and presented a slanted view. I'll be very clear. I can't sum up Bonnie's reasons for leaving TYT based on one specific comment from Ana or one article by Single, and it's not my place to try.
And I cannot, I will not, I refuse to lend any support to those views whatsoever, because fundamentally they're dangerous and they're ridiculous and like they're straight up evil.
What I will say is that Ana clearly hasn't vetted Single enough to be dying on this hill. And that fits with the TYT approach when they get called out by the left. Lash out first, analyze later. Go with your gut feeling, despite the existence of so much evidence that you're...
And also, they seemingly go like out on a limb to protect white men. Like, they will go to bat for them and give them the grace of God, honey. It's weird. Like, the grace that they will never give to women of color, especially, like, it's a very weird environment over there.
Uninformed at best, and actively harming the people you're seeking to protect at worst.
But okay, you don't care about the politics? Let's just, for once in your life, think strategically about what that means. That means that you're gonna continue pushing the Democratic Party to unequivocally support everything that the trans activists want, even if it's unpopular among the electorate. That means they're not getting reelected. That means they're gonna lose to Republicans. Republican lawmakers who are passing draconian, disgusting legislation in various states right now as we speak against the transgender community.
Look at this. You're gonna push your Democratic Party to unequivocally support everything the trans activists want. Like, shut up. Literally, shut the fuck up. I think Ana Kasparian is genuinely personally transphobic. I'm just gonna say it right now. She's like saying and doing all of the things. She's referring to every trans person as a trans rights activist. Referencing every trans person as a trans rights activist is just, on its face, literally transphobic.
Clock it, sister. Also, little side note, her attitude towards activism, protest, has always rubbed me very wrong. It's like, do you not understand the movement you're fighting for? Well, clearly she doesn't, so she's aligned now. Like, was your whole ethos just like debating people? Was that the whole point of your political career? Because I don't know what you stand for, Ana. And neither do you. You're unaligned.
Like, shout out, I'm a queer black man, so shout out to all the queer folks who are on TYT, who were contributors at the time, who had their own little like Twitch shows as they were trying to get out onto Twitch as well. This really smart trans woman, went by Benny at the time, now Bonnie Carroll, who was on TYT, and when Ana was starting to listen to, I forget their names, but a lot of these like right-wing sort of like trans panic sort of substackers and journalists and things like that, and really falling for the, listen, I have nothing against the LGBTQ plus community, but can we talk about bathrooms and sports stuff? Like, like just falling for all the tropes.
Right.
You had Bonnie, who is incredibly educated, truly one of the smartest people I have been blessed to know, who is breaking down on a biological level, on a sociological level, in a way that you could tell she was barely even speaking from lived experience. She was talking about papers in reputable journals that have studied this thing since before Ana or Ben Shapiro or any of these transphobes were but a twinkle in their father's eye, right? Despite all of this evidence, despite all this research, Ana was like, well, I look on Twitter and it seems like a lot of people are like this, so it's fine. And Cenk said something along the lines of, I love my like radical lefty friends or whatever, stuff like that, but you're losing on this issue.
It's going to drive everyone away from you. And it's going to lead to a situation where it's harder to win those rights that we're all fighting for.
The concept of rolling back rights for some people so everybody can get that, like, we have to not fight for these rights so we can get them. What? That's some bullshit. You are a dumb bitch. What? Okay. I can't. What even did they even just fucking go through? Go back a second. I'm going to go back. Sorry.
It's going to drive every.
I love my like radical lefty friends or whatever, stuff like that, but you're losing on this issue.
First of all, the fuck we are, bitch. Look. I listed to multiple people at the beginning of the fucking video talking about Majority Report, Kyle Kalinske, Hassan Piker. Like, there's tons of people blowing the fuck up right now who are steadfast in their support for the trans community and will not waver on their support for trans rights. You did, and your motherfucking views are in the fucking toilet, bitch. You are a pariah amongst anybody who knows like anything about the online political landscape. It's just like we're losing. And who are we losing to? 30% of the country that voted for voted for Donald Trump? This is the same bullshit that Kamala was. This is the same shit that like Kamala lost on. We have to play patty cake with all these racists and bigots and terrible people. We have to go hold hands with Liz Cheney. We have to go cuck ourselves to fucking Israel and corporations. Like, no. Like, I need like a newspaper. Like, smack him on the nose. Like, no, Anna, no, Cenk, no, Kamala, no, Liz. I need something better than a fucking newspaper. You need to go somewhere. I don't like that lady. Neither should you. What did she say? She tried to try to spread that lie that doctors are committing infanticide in hospitals. She's a loon.
It's going to drive everyone away from you. And it's going to lead to a situation where it's harder to win those rights that we're all fighting for rather than easier to win.
People don't like the idea of giving trans people all these rights. I'm like, damn, nigga. Like, there was a point. There was a point in popular opinion where civil rights for Black people was not popular.
That was my.
That doesn't mean you don't. Yeah, like, it doesn't mean you don't fight for it. They're rights.
And this whole idea of like, you're gonna lose the Republicans. You're gonna lose the Republicans if you cater to these trans people. Once again, is entirely debunked. Most people are fine with trans people. And when Republicans make their entire platform about attacking trans people, it actually does undermine their political success. We just live in a country that is very much not a democracy, that has all this gerrymandering and all these other things. And so Republicans still have like seats in a lot of places. I know, wild concept. But genuinely, if you look at their poll numbers in response to them focusing on just trans people existing, it's not working.
This is just true. I went to the Human Rights Campaign.
Also, look at Zohran Mamdani. He walked at the fucking Pride parade in New York City holding a trans flag, and record amount of people went out to fucking vote for him. So people in Trump's district, the people in the districts that voted for Trump went out to vote for him in droves. So like, clearly you can win as long as you're principled in what you believe in.
Site, and they have a whole article about all the races Republicans have lost, trying to focus exclusively on hating trans people. Hey, let's check out Georgia. I live in Atlanta. Turns out Herschel Walker, the ex-football player with half his brain missing, lost his runoff race by damn near 3 whole polling points, partially because he hammered trans people so hard. Good. Herschel Walker's going to come back up in this story later. Stay tuned.
Political commentator Ana Kasparian of the progressive network The Young Turks, who famously a few years ago declared herself politically unaligned and spent the run-up to the 2024 election and most of 2025 gracing right-wing shows, not to challenge but to find common ground with them, the ground right over the bodies of trans people.
Is it bad that I don't want to see a dick in the women's locker room? Is that bad?
No.
Did she just? Why the fuck are you looking at people's genitals in the fucking locker room, Anna? Why are you acting like a fucking pervert? First of all. Second of all, why are you such a fucking bigot that you have such an idiot? Like, you have such an issue with people's bodies. People have reproductive organs. People have bodies. They exist. God forbid. Also, I've never really met a trans person who is like walking around with their fucking genitals all over the place. Like, usually there's a point of dysmorphia or shame, or maybe they are proud of it, but they're not flaunting it around. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, first of all. Second of all, you transphobe, like, you are a big, like, listen up, J.K. Rowling. You don't have to fucking see fucking anything in the fucking locker room because you don't have to fucking go to the locker room. Nobody's forcing you to go to the locker room. You could actually work out at home. You could change at home, go shower at home. Like, no, also, like I said, nobody's asking you to look at other people's genitals. I'm pretty sure when we're in a locker room, we can all just like get dressed, mind our own business, and it'd be normal. And why do you have such an issue with people's bodies? Does a woman having a dick offend you, Anna? Does it really offend you to the point that you cannot just get dressed in peace? What is the issue? Seriously, what is the issue? I would like to know. The fact that you would take this moment in this political landscape to add to the demonization of trans people's bodies like that is so fucking disgusting to me. One, and then two, bodies are a body. I cannot stress this enough. Trans people's bodies are fucking normal. They should be fucking normal. You should be able to fucking see a fucking dick in the locker room because it's not on a fucking man. Like, I don't fucking understand the issue here. She's not trying to fucking perv on you. And honestly, you're the one being a fucking pervert staring at people's genitals. Like, what is the fucking big deal? And why are we acting as though this is like large swaths of the fucking community that are transitioning when it's literally 1% of the fucking population? How many billionaires do you know? I don't know any. That's 1% of the population. I've never met one. Never even seen one. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what a fucking gross fucking thing to say. You are so disgusting. Like, also, why is that what you think about? Like, the obsession with genitals is so weird. Like, why are you so obsessed with people's genitals? It's weird. What are you, Nancy Mace? Like, it's crazy. Like, you think we're hysterical? The fact that you can't just be an adult and behave like a grown-up? Like, I don't. What are you, 12? Even like I'm struggling. Like, I used to work at the hospital. There was a dressing room and we would get dressed and like it wasn't a big deal. We wouldn't get naked, obviously, but like it was unisex. We would get dressed. It wasn't a big deal. We would all just like it. We're adults. We're not perverts. We're not creeping on anybody. Like what is the issue here? Like, you're so weird. Why do people's bodies offend you? Maybe that's something that you should introspect on. If you're uncomfortable by a body, then maybe there's a certain block there that you should probably go to therapy for. Like, I don't understand what this is. Like, is it bad that I don't want to see you when I fucking log on to YouTube? Because I don't. But you're still making videos every single fucking day. I'm getting heated. I need to take this fucking sweater off. It's really fucking pissing me off. Like, what? Why is it like? Why? I'm so tired of trans people being treated as if they're like freak show entertainers for P.T. Barnum, as if it's not just completely fucking normal and hasn't existed since the dawn of time. Like, you guys are the weird ones. Not us. Like, I don't understand what you're the one who's become hysterical over somebody having an organ. What a cunt.
At minimum, politically, I would not do that. I think that it puts people off. They're confused by it, and especially conservatives. I mean, you're never gonna get conservatives anyway, but maybe conservative independents, right? They're scared of change, right? And all of a sudden, when they hear something so foreign to them, they go, "Oh, hell no, I'm not. Nobody's gonna call me a birthing person. I'm a mother," right? And especially on an issue like that.
I kind of put my foot down.
Yeah, conservatives would react that way. But also, why are we placating to these dumb motherfuckers who are unwilling to learn and are scared of their own motherfucking shadows? Oh my god, trans people exist. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Live? Like, what? Was your life affected by trans people yesterday? No. So You heard a segment about it on Fox News, and all of a sudden you whipped yourself into a fucking frenzy. Maybe you should seek therapy. That's a you issue. I'm so tired of trying to win over this elusive conservative independent. Ew. First of all, and second of all, who fucking cares about these MAGA cultists? I don't give a fuck. They're racist. They're bigoted. They're fucking transphobic. They're homophobic. They're misogynistic. They're white supremacists. They're fascist enablers. They're fascists themselves. I don't give a fuck. I don't care to win them over. You're not going to. Plus, they're only like 30% of the fucking country. Only 77 million people voted for Trump. There's 340 million people in America. That means that like 25% of the fucking country voted for him? You should be more focused on winning over the other 75 fucking percent with a good message. Like, that includes everybody, includes rights for everybody. The fact that you are placating to them and like, oh, you know what? This actually is an issue. No, it's not. It's bullshit. They made it up to get their fucking base mad because they don't want them to realize that the real fucking people that are screwing them are the billionaires, and capitalism is what is the issue.
On my own platforms, I was starting to interview the contributors who were being let go of, not necessarily because of their numbers. They were doing great numbers, but because they were arguing with Cenk and Ana too much. And you know what? They were being honest that if you say trans rights except this, that's transphobic, take it to the bank. And they didn't like that, but they were apparently fine with, you know, multiple people sexual harassment, multiple people who were like rabid Zionists on their network, multiple people like, you know, like all this other different stuff, usually giving them a pass because they had 5 figures of followers on Twitter. It's just not journalism.
Quick pause. We addressed anti-Zionism earlier, and it's true that Cenk and Ana don't necessarily have any stances that are Zionist. But if they're letting people on their network, like the Jimmy Dores and the Dave Rubins of the world, get away with being so far right and so Zionist, then that's on them too. They're responsible for their network.
I was scheduled to be on Rashad.
It's also crazy how many former TYT contributors have made this insane right-wing switch. It's very weird. It's very weird. Telling, I think.
Ritchie's show, and their producer told me that I was taken off the show the week that I was starting to talk about all this stuff very publicly and wasn't mincing words, and I was hosting people who were former TYT people who weren't mincing words.
That is
like, yeah, and I know that was not Rashad Ritchie's decision. That was not that producer's decision. That came from much higher. Yep.
I'm going to talk about this a lot more later, but Cenk is much more obsessed with what's popular and what's going to put off the Republicans than he ever will be with actually growing a backbone and doing the right thing. The Young Turks core values page is full of statements that make it clear that they're never going to do this kind of thing. Either they forgot what it says or they sold out. Either way, both of y'all are tripping. Y'all remember the Occupy protests? A lot of people really angry, focused on holding corporations accountable for their bullshit. Now, do you remember Citizens United? Big case, Supreme Court decided that campaign donations can come from corporations because they might as well be people. Why not? In 2011, Cenk introduced Wolfpack, a political action committee solely dedicated to reversing Citizens United. Sounds great, right? There's a couple problems with it though. For one, Wolfpack worked with really destructive right-wing organizations like ALEC extensively to achieve their goal of creating a constitutional convention. Hold up. There's 2 terms in that sentence that most people probably aren't familiar with. ALEC, A-L-E-C, is a group of right-wing lobbyists and political leaders that want to rewrite the Constitution. A constitutional convention is the same thing that took place in 1787, a bunch of white men getting together to debate and ratify the Constitution. Now you're all caught up. Problem is, a group like ALEC wants to rewrite the Constitution for entirely different reasons than Wolfpack says they do. We're talking about an organization that supported the big lie about Trump really winning the 2020 election. What is this holding hands kumbaya shit? More evidence adding to the pile, supporting my main point. The Young Turks are putting results that benefit their public image ahead of basic principles. Their site claims, quote, big money donors are rigging elections, end quote, and that you're in the right place to fight corruption. But how is that the case when you're partnering with corrupt groups to achieve that? I'll be super clear. I don't know if they're still working with them right now, but there is no reason they ever should have been collaborating, because there's no world in which ALEC or any group like them would ever create a situation where an Anti-Citizens United Amendment would succeed. These constitutional conventions you say you want would specify that each state gets one vote. That means red states, which
so many of these fucking political commentators act like this is like we're on different teams of a football game and we can all have a beer with each other afterwards. And no. You have a completely different set of morals and principles that I do. In fact, I don't believe you have morals and principles, and I do. And because I have principles, I can't hang out with you. That's fucked. Also, I wouldn't want to. The fuck? Who the fuck would want to get a fucking beer with Charlie Kirk? I'm sorry, not to speak ill of the dead, but I didn't like the motherfucker when he was alive, and I don't like him now, nor his gummy smile. Wouldn't want to see it.
only represent a third of our population get to determine those amendments. Beautiful. Just so y'all know, I'm not making loose insinuations. Wolfpack testified as neutral in a hearing about COSA's convention application. That's one of these far-right groups. When one of the original founders of COSA, Michael Ferris, used to be president of Alliance Defending Freedom, which is a conservative Christian hate group. These are the people y'all are kicking it with. All that both sides talk he was popping off earlier makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? Pause that and read it if you need to. In 2024, footage of at least 7 to 10 armed minorities in an apartment building hit the internet in the middle of a dispute between a terrible landlord and his tenants. The landlord was facing lawsuits for not handling bugs, repairs, and tenant complaints, and hired a PR firm that specialized in planting news stories. Shortly after, the landlord claimed the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua had taken over his apartment building's empty units and was extorting residents. This man had 3 buildings, and all of them had similar problems, but this was the only one that forced the landlord to come up with an excuse, because his tenants sued him. Fox News and every other right-wing outlet ran with the gang story for obvious reasons, and TYT took the bait hard.
You're watching footage from last August featuring members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua breaking into an apartment unit in Aurora, Colorado. Now, a shooting later broke out in the building's parking lot. And there's also some video footage that shows armed men confronting a driver in the parking lot of the apartment complex. Let's put that up. But apparently, this particular apartment complex, according to some of the residents and former residents, has been riddled with all sorts of gang violence over the.
This goes to show, like, what she has editorial, so she probably pulled this. Where'd you pull that from, Anna? Where did you get that? What are you watching and reading in your spare time? Is it right-wing outlets?
Last year. But this incident has sparked a big debate and I believe some gaslighting about whether or not there is a problem with Venezuelan migrant gangs basically taking over apartment buildings or causing violent crimes at these apartment buildings. The mayor of Aurora, Colorado, admitted that there actually is a problem with Venezuelan gangs. Aurora's interim police chief said that the gangs had not taken over
in Colorado. Oh, please.
One of the complexes. Now, you depending on what you're hearing different things. And whether
white people hear brown people and they lose all critical thought. Like they lose their ability to scrutinize when it comes to a brown or black person. Like they just believe whatever the fuck they're given.
Whether or not this is a widespread problem in Aurora, Colorado remains to be seen. Let's be clear about that. But the issue of this Venezuelan gang
God, this is so embarrassing for her.
carrying out violent acts and crimes in the area, there seems to be a lot of evidence of that, while the Democratic lawmakers and leaders in the state and local level want to pretend like it's not happening at all.
What I blame them for is believing the claim that these were Venezuelans with no hard proof. The fact that they ignored information about conservatives inventing the city's gang problem. And the claim that there's a gang violence problem, which is a completely different thing from a gang taking over one building. The city council admitted that the city's Venezuelan gang problem was their opinion and said that, quote, their opinions aren't up for debate, end quote. What? TYT had access to this story by 9 News because it was published the same time that this event happened. They chose to focus in on this whole Democrat politicians are gaslighting us storyline instead of the facts, which is that this is propaganda. Is there a Trinidad Agua presence in Aurora? Absolutely. Is it a massive gang violence problem that extends to multiple buildings? And did they take over this building? No, and they shouldn't have reported it in the first place. Jurinsky, the same person that dropped that quote, also accused Trinidad Agua of being behind this large crowd that gathered at a local mall when the Venezuelan election results came out. Spoiler alert, they were there to celebrate the expected fall of Nicolas Maduro. You know, the guy we kidnapped from Venezuela? This feeds into Anna's narrative of being victimized by the left. It just gives her more reasons to move away. TYT took this extremely nuanced story with conflicting evidence and screamed at us about it with the most white suburban housewife energy I've ever seen.
The interim police chief said that the residents making complaints about the gang's activity have largely been migrants who live in the buildings. Why are we allowing them to be victimized by this? This is ridiculous.
Who said nothing?
Oh no, the landlord. He's such a victim. Behind the billionaires, the landlords are next. We can get rid of all of them.
Nothing's being done. You said yourself there's an investigation already underway. This is what happens when you have a 24/7 outrage machine to fill in every day. For another example of how they're not walking the walk, let's break down their 180 on the unhoused population. Jeffrey Katzenberg, the DreamWorks exec who tried and failed to get us to watch vertical TV shows on Quibi, invested $20 million in TYT via WonderCo, which Cenk announced on air while claiming that they'd stay progressive and independent in their coverage. Cool. If you follow through with that, then there's no problem.
Independent media. Okay.
Jeffrey Katzenberg's been indirectly pulling the strings, just like Bezos at the Washington Post. Here's an example. He flexed his influence in getting homelessness criminalized in LA after meeting with most of the city council members in the week before the council voted. 4 of the people he met with said that he wanted to know why so many tents are on the sidewalks and what could be done to deliver additional resources.
What could be done to deliver additional resources to unhoused people? Arrest them. The fuck? Like what? California has one of the largest GDPs in the world. It's larger than most countries. They could do something about their unhoused population. They choose not to.
That's great, right?
And criminalizing it? Are you a barbarian? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right. But 2 sources said he wanted to be helpful at first, but quickly moved towards enacting limits on where people can sleep and talking about tents down, which is eventually what happened. What happened not long after that? Ana advocated for anti-camping laws on TYT.
One of those terrible decisions is essentially doing away with anti-camping laws, right? Allowing people to camp out wherever they want, whenever they want. And if, like, we have a homeless problem in California. We have it all throughout the country, but it's particularly bad in California. And so the argument is, well, if there isn't public housing available for people, they should be allowed to camp out.
Talking about how there's sufficient housing and that unhoused people don't want to take it.
Okay, but there's also a problem right now where there is public housing available and individuals will say, no, I don't want to take it. I don't want to follow the rules in the public housing. And so as a result, I would rather camp out.
What the hell are you talking about?
I had a friend who worked in a homeless shelter. That type of person does rarely exist, but it's not the vast majority of people want a roof over their head. They want to be warm at night. They want food. And also there is nowhere near enough housing for people. Like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She literally, everything about what she said is just factually incorrect.
Since when is there sufficient housing for the unhoused in LA? They dropped that video in 2021. That wasn't the case in 2021. It wasn't the case in 2023 either. It damn sure ain't the case in 2026. Y'all didn't provide any evidence for that claim. Where did that come from? Ana. It came from Ana. The facts disagree. And y'all are supposed to be
whatever right-wing bullshit she's been watching.
Be the ones reporting the facts no matter what, regardless of popularity. Let's throw it back to how they used to cover this same issue when discussing homelessness in Las Vegas.
Homelessness continues to be a giant problem in many big cities throughout the country, and the city council in Las Vegas has decided to approach this in the worst possible way. They are essentially citing homeless individuals who sleep on the streets. The Las Vegas City Council is slated to vote on an ordinance that would make it illegal to camp or sleep on the streets in parts of the city. Drafted in September, the ordinance would make it a misdemeanor to rest, sleep, or lodge in Las Vegas's downtown district and other residential areas if shelter beds are available. Now, here's part of the problem. Most of the time, there aren't enough, actually all the time, there aren't enough shelter beds available for homeless people to find any, refuge in.
She makes the point that there aren't enough beds available and that these violations are criminalizing people unfairly. Those criminal records make future work more difficult, creating a cycle of poverty. The takeaway is clear. The Young Turks is for sale, and all these flip-flops directly contradict what Cenk was claiming to do with Wolfpack. I'm not a VC-funded network like TYT, but I have to make decisions on whether or not to sell out my audience every day. It's a simple decision. Do you value money or your reputation more? I acknowledge that it probably feels different to stare down tens of millions of dollars rather than the thousands I deal with. But is it really that different? What's the price tag on your self-respect? As promised, I want to turn to Jack Gerard, TYT's COO and occasional acting CEO during Cenk's political campaign. His LinkedIn tells a pretty clear story. He's still the acting chief operating officer, was the chief administrative officer during the unionization drama, and came to TYT after running Kaiser Permanente as their executive director of national product management. In case none of that landed for you, Kaiser Permanente is a healthcare corporation. His job as executive director was to manage national medical insurance products valued at over $1.4 billion, according to his own job description. When we talked about the union-busting firms TYT hired, when we talk about the funding round they completed with Katzenberg's VC group, the exploitation and termination of employees, he's an integral part of the story. I wasn't in any of their meetings, but it's not a stretch to lay the company's shift towards the right at his feet too. It made business sense, and his specialty as a healthcare exec was making money at the expense of ethics and morals. My last point about the TYT squad is about their partnership with Polymarket, the crypto betting platform where you can bet on real-life events, like political campaigns. I don't think I need to explain why that's not a good look for a progressive organization. It's funded by billionaire Peter Thiel, the venture capitalist who co-founded PayPal and backed Facebook.
And is responsible for smoky-eyed sociopath J.D. Vance.
He founded a hedge fund and Palantir, a big data analysis company.
That is now being used to genocide Palestinians.
No love for Peter Thiel. He has done massive damage to this country. He backed Donald Trump 100%. He backed the lunatics, J.D. Vance and Blake Masters, just disgusting people who spread hatred and fear and lies in this country. So don't mistake what I'm saying for as any defense of Peter Thiel. Live from the Poly Market Studios. What is this? It's hilarious. I love it. I think it's a perfect sponsor for us.
This partnership renamed their crowd-funded, independent Studio of the People to Poly Market Studios. That's like when the Heats Arena got renamed for FTX. I want to sit in on the crypto corporate partnership section of future economics classes. That shit's going to be hilarious. Regardless of how often you claim your content won't be compromised by these massive corporate sponsorships, it simply isn't true.
When you see like Anna's continued shift towards being willing to hear the right-wing, angles of scapegoating migrants, scapegoating people of color, and you hear some of Cenk's things about, oh, let's meet them in the middle, let's listen to these people are reasonable, oh, there's Jimmy, there's Ben Glebe, yeah, I know I disagree with them, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. That benefit of the doubt was not given to, in my strong leftist opinion, the most important people who were there, the workers, the staff, the ones who stayed after the hosts, the ones who came in before the hosts, the ones who would sacrifice their social lives, their professional and financial sort of prospects because they believed in the mission.
It's like a politician accepting money from endless corporations. And Trump
Also, like, even people like Bonnie, like, they didn't give her the fucking benefit of the doubt. They told Cenk was literally like, you live in an echo chamber. You live in your bubble. Like, just a cunt. Just a condescending cunt. Fuck you, Cenk.
going to tell us those companies donated for years and got nothing in return. We've laid out some of the right-wing views and exploitative practices already. But even if it's only advertising, that's still unacceptable. You can't fundraise from viewers, claim they're your bosses on your site, and then pull a Facebook. I mean, it's a free country. You can. You just can't call yourselves progressives after doing so.
Just because it's not popular or not polling well doesn't mean you don't fight for it. After the 2024 election, when Trump won, the idea from Cenk and Ana was like, okay, listen, the right-wingers have a point. Tucker Carlson, he's a populist. He's against wars. I think he's going to convince the right wing that they're going to be against wars. And you know what? I want to do a speaking tour. I want to talk to the populist right. I want to talk to the Tucker Carlsons. I want to talk to the Charlie Kirks and Anna Kasparian. I want to talk to the Ben Shapiros. And Cenk specifically said, the problem with leftists is that you just can't have a beer with them. Charlie Kirk, I can have a beer with, and we can agree and disagree. And I would, paraphrase, Cenk could say, I believe, I believe people of color should have rights. And Charlie Kirk can go, shut up, Turk. Shut up, you greasy Turk. I don't care. Martin Luther King Jr. was, a menace to society. At the end of the day, Cenk can go have a beer with that. I'm like, no. I can have there's a difference between my best friends from high school and their parents who maybe have voted Republican most of the time, but I can have a conversation with them and they're not disrespecting my race or my family or my gender identity because I've grown up with their kid. Right. And they can have some reasonable points. And frankly, because of me, they stopped watching as much Fox News. They started to, align with some Democrats. Like, there's a difference between that kind of discourse and people whose professional jobs it is, the Charlie Kirks, the Ben Shapiros, the Tucker Carlsons, the professional jobs it is to distort.
I get that running an indie news network is hard.
Also, like, it's not discourse. Let's be real. Like, you're not just having discourse or debating. Charlie Kirk was an unabashed, egregious racist. The things he said about black people were absolutely like just abhorrent. There is no other way to describe it. He had a vile hatred towards the black community, specifically black women. But like that is not a discourse. That's a humongous moral flaw. That is a failure of your character. That is not something that is we're going to debate on. I'm not going to debate you on whether or not black people deserve rights. That ain't gonna happen, boo boo. I'm sorry. That's not how I'm gonna like. No. We're not debating whether or not people deserve to be treated like people.
And you got to chase the bag to an extent. I'm on a much smaller scale, and I have sponsors, including political ones. That's how I'm able to interview politicians on the issues I care about. I used to need those sponsors just to survive financially. However, I've never let that funding compromise my brand or my morals. My audience would absolutely tear me apart. Y'all are way too smart to not know what this pattern of behavior and business moves is doing to your integrity.
I used to proudly put on my LinkedIn that I worked with Ana Kasparian. I can't do that anymore. Not only just because she has made this right-leaning shift, I could give a good goddamn, right? But it's because her practice of journalism has diminished. She's not rigorous. She's more just trying to be like, everything that she was supposedly fighting against in the 10 years that I had like known of her, which is, stenographer journalism. This side says this side says this, we'll have to leave it there. Or like, we'll have to try to find something in the middle in order to appease some radical centrist, right?
We can't trust y'all anymore. I'm done making my point about the Young Turks, and I promised y'all I'd tie up my saga with Rashad Ritchie in this video. So, let's land that plane. For those who weren't paying attention in the intro, he announced that he was suing me.
All right, I'm not too worried about Rashad Ritchie, but I do implore you guys to go cover. That would be you. I do implore you guys to go watch that. The first two videos were really good, so I'm assuming that it's going to be really good. I'm going to finish this up later. But I just wanted to focus on Young Turks as a platform in this React video. So, what I'll say is this, or what I will say is, I appreciate Cenk and Ana for what they were. But seemingly what that was a facade. And the behavior, I've seen Ana recently apologize like half-assedly in like a fucking members only episode that like, anyways, not the point. But I did see her apologize, and I do want to have grace, but at the same time, you have some serious shit to answer for. You not only did you peddle in fascism, but you were extremely like racist and transphobic and like so disgusting towards the unhoused community, towards the black community, towards the Hispanic community. Like there's so many different, the trans community. Like not only that, you have serious issues with people that you need to reckon with and actually like address. Like Emma Vigland, you treated like shit. Francesca Fiorentini is another one that comes to mind. Olay, you treated like crap. There are so many people I can think of off the top of my head that you just did like you. I don't know, and Cenk as well. Like honestly, the whole Majority Report crew, Sam Cedar and everybody there, they deserve an apology from the Young Turks. Calling them low rent grifters, seriously? After everything that we just watched, who do you think is a low rent grifter? Right. There's just a long list of people like Bonnie, who was the other guy? I forget his name, but like it's just you have continuously diminished the voices of these progressive contributors, but not only that, a lot of them happen to be minority. And while doing that, you elevated voices like Jimmy Dore. Like it's a very strange pivot. So, like I said, you do have a lot of things to answer for. There's real pain there. Like, I know you might view this as like a game and like, oh, we can all just go have a beer afterwards, but you caused real harm in your actions, and there were people who had to pay the price, and you have to reckon with that. And I don't know if you are properly going to. And let's be honest, like, let's go to Social Blade. Okay, so go to monthly gain views for the Young Turks. Yeah, okay, so yeah. It is interesting that like now they're starting to pivot back to like progressive politics after this. Like, hey girl, I don't know. Not good. It's just like there's so much there, and there's so much to answer for, and you have to reckon with, and you have to like really apologize and do some real introspection with both of them. It's like they just like it's like folia de with narcissism. Like they just like amplify each other. Crazy. And they think that we live in an echo chamber, like leftists live in an echo chamber. Maybe hop off Twitter. Go exist in the real world. Anyways, you have it for long enough. Great video by Cam James. Go check him out. Go check out his first two parts on Rashad Ritchie. They were very good. Go check out The Vanguard. That's the only reason I know about a ton of this information, if I'm being honest, because otherwise I would not deign to look into Cenk and Ana. I just have no interest. All right. Have a good night, everybody.